There is something really interesting about how in most of human history, China was without a doubt the most advanced country in the world. Throughout most of human history, there's only been a very, 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 very short period of time where China wasn't the most advanced country. And that time had to do with the development of capitalism as an advancement through feudalism. And the structure of Chinese feudalism was the most advanced in the world. And it had a professional bureaucratic class. It had an emperor who ruled over a large territory. And so this kind of like almost made China a little sclerotic, meaning hidebound, meaning stuck in the feudal era. And it resisted the transition to, you know, capitalism and more advanced forms of material production. And that's where China slipped. And it was the smaller nations where the burger class, the capitalist class, the merchant class was able to grow in size through trade to such an extent that it was able to overtake politically the feudal. This is an account of history that I agree with. Why did capitalism form in Europe instead of China is one of the world's grand historical questions. And I think that's the answer. I think the answer is that because European feudal states were so small, when the technology arrived that allowed and facilitated global trade, the merchant classes that were able to facilitate that trade were able to gain such material wealth and status that they were able to overtake the existing administrative structures of states and polities, and therefore, you know, carve out a, you know, dictatorship of the bourgeoisie, change the political calculations of Europe, and therefore take full advantage of the material gains possible and technological advances possible through capitalism. And that's why Europe was able to colonize the world. We have, you know, Lenin talking about imperialism as the highest stage of capitalism, going on from there. And now that China, because they're the most advanced country, it is interesting that they then skipped over that stage. They went directly to a communist party, and it is a communist party that has developed China back into its stage as the preeminent world power, which it always was throughout almost all of human history. And so now that we have, it's interesting because it's like China fell back because the technology was not there and the organizational government was not there for it to resume its prime place as the most powerful country in the world. And it just makes sense, right? Like, if you look at the world, China is the place that is the most capable of human flourishing on the planet, and its structures and cultures have coalesced around those facts. And that's what's really interesting is now we're in a situation where we need the capitalist constrained again. Like that's the political reality we're in. To advance humanity before, we need capitalists that were too strong for feudalism. But now we need a state that's strong enough to contain capitalists. And only China has been able to develop that state. Every other state is collapsing under the weight of the parasitic class that is capital. And so now everybody's seeing like, wow, China's just continuing to grow at an unprecedented rate. The economy of China, even after this so-called trade war, we can't compete. They're growing at 5% per year. I mean, if they continue to grow at 5% per year, the United States is going to be a speck in the rearview mirror. The United States is lucky to grow at 2%. Our ideology is so bastardized that even as we try to socialize and go to the left, we're still competing to be the best individual socialists. I mean, that's the American mindset, right? The American mindset is all about the glorification of the individual, right? Everything is about your subjective moral standing and how you're perceived by people and blah, 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 blah. And there's so many grifters and there's so many people that are focused on that shit. And it's very disheartening. Not gonna lie. Mike, Tencent tried to join the Paramount hostile takeover bid. What are your thoughts on that? Terrible. I think you're the only streamer who truly understands how far ahead China is. It's not that China's far ahead yet. The rate of change. They're so far ahead of us because of the rate of change. And that is the thing that you should be focusing on. Well, there's two things. You should always be cognizant of what the relative strengths and standing of everything is in the current moment. That's just being aware of the world around you, right? But you also should be cognizant of the rate of change. And China's rate of change is insane. I mean, building 150 nuclear reactors, building more renewable energies in 1 year than the rest of the world combined, like having more, installing more solar panels last year than France has in its entire history. Having enough, building an electric dam that's big enough to power Poland and France combined. Like, this stuff is insane. These numbers don't even make sense. What kind of healthcare does China have? China has a all-payer system. It's very interesting. But main thing that China has that the United States doesn't have is extreme affordability. Extreme affordability. The prices of Chinese healthcare are extremely low, and they focus on high efficiency. Healthcare in China is insane. That's because they aren't free. Do you feel free? Do you feel free? My wife gets all her doctor's visits taken care of when she goes back home to visit her parents. Exactly. China's stock market is not very profitable. Yeah, that's the thing is the United States right now is inflating our currency, and we're the world reserve currency. So our stock market is going up because of a combination of a lot of factors. It's mostly disconnected from how everybody's doing. If China is so advanced, why do they not have surge prices on groceries? Yeah. Silver at $8.60. Yeah, I know. I saw. That's crazy. Your title says America needs FU lefties. That's right. That's right. Here, let me put some little quotes about it so you understand what I'm saying. FU lefties as one phrase, not fuck you lefties. Lefties that say fuck you. If that makes sense. So, wow, what are we talking about today? Okay, we need Mike from PA type lefties. I'm making a new rule, chat. No more Arc Raiders unless I post a TikTok. I'm not allowed to. I'm actually addicted to Arc Raiders. It's rare for me to get addicted to a video game, but I actually became addicted to Arc Raiders. I don't know what it is about that game. Our trios were not going well last night because we kept rushing medical at the very beginning of the round, kill 3 teams, and then the 4th fucking third partier when we were out of meds walking in and killing us after spawning directly behind us. I honestly think that I like Stellamontes the most, but the medical area is just dumb because people just spawn directly behind you constantly. And it's a little annoying. You need someone to carry you? No, not at all. Would it be possible to get a channel in your Discord for playlist, song, video suggestions? Yes. Suggest it to the mods. What level am I? A lot high. I'm going to do the reset, and I'm going to, I'm at some high level. It doesn't. Mike can't come out to play until he's done his homework. Post TikTok. Exactly. I want to start posting TikToks every day. Did I miss the coverage of the Clip Inside Extremes list story yesterday? No, we didn't get to it, but we will. In fact, I think we should start the stream with that because I want to talk about it. Could you start to enter the damn debate sphere before it stops existing? Why? Seems boring. The problem with debate is no one debates. They posture. And there's no intellectual consistency or honesty. It's all about posturing with your ideological enemies and trying to get clips. That's not really debating. It's not really thought. You would do significant damage. Oh, I'm sure I would, but I just don't enjoy it. You have to understand that I'm in a self-actualization period of my life. I only do things that I think align with what I want to do, my morals, and will do something positive for the world. Like, I don't do anything I don't want to do that isn't actually good for the world. I don't have to. So I don't. Like, sorry, but like debating some liar for the entertainment of drooling morons is not something I want to do. If I feel like I want to debate an individual person, I will. By the way, so this is not like some hard and fast rule. I'm just saying that that's the way I live. Did you see the news about the PCR test being totally useless? Huh? Debate Empanada? What am I going to debate him on? Him going, America's bad. Therefore, the best solution is to destroy every kind of left-wing influencer, organization, or politician in the U.S. Also, I'm an Australian white man living in the global south using US dollars that I made from making videos for American dummies. Like, what are we talking about here? He has nothing to debate me on. There's no point to be made. His fans don't care about politics either. If you're a Bad Empanada fan, you're not really, you don't care. You have probably some sort of like trauma. You're doing trauma response, probably because of disappointment and shame, where like you supported Bernie and they lost, or you supported AOC and she didn't enact socialism, which is like, that's AOC never said I'm going to enact socialism if I get elected to one seat in Congress. You know what I mean? Like the goalpost moves of what people actually ran on versus what they're doing in office, what they're capable of doing in office. And then people go, well, AOC failed. And it's like, AOC did not pass Medicare for all. And it's like, yes, because you didn't. So there were 214 Medicare for all people in Congress and 51 anti-filibuster pro-Medicare for all people in the Senate and the president, right? And a Supreme Court that's not going to throw it out, right? You want Medicare for all, you have to have all of those things. Or you need to have some sort of grand constitutional convention that throws out the U.S. Constitution and writes a new one. Those are all vastly radical political environments that we have not created. So you're judging people off of not creating a radical environment that does not exist? That doesn't sound like leftism to me. That doesn't sound like a revolutionary to me. We cannot force material conditions to exist that do not exist. We can't like catalyze the revolution from our words alone. They rise through material conditions that have not been existed. And as Gramsci said, we are in a war of position where we are battling hegemonic forces. That includes the colonization of the worker's brain into capitalist modes of thinking. We have to decolonize. We have to inculcate class consciousness. We have to inculcate a sense of workers versus the ownership class. We have to create political organizations like labor unions that empower workers to feel like they have political and economic power, as opposed to being buffeted by the winds and rains of economic reality where we feel powerless. I mean, I'll be completely goddamn. One of the worst things about streaming, can I tell you guys about one of the worst things about streaming? One of the worst things about streaming is that streamers have absolutely no consciousness whatsoever of their position economically in relation to Twitch and YouTube and TikTok. Every single one of them is basically an individual. They're all Hulk Hogan's. That's the best way to describe it. They're all Hulk Hogan's. They think that they're getting a good deal and fuck you, right? They don't give a shit about the rest of the streamer community. And we just don't have leadership. We don't have a leadership. We don't have consciousness. We don't have organizations. Can I say one thing about Cutie Cinderella and the Streamer Awards? And if people want to get mad at me over this, it's fine. Let me do a preamble. I think what Cutie Cinderella has achieved with the Streamer Awards is amazing. I want to congratulate Cutie Cinderella for creating the Streamer Awards and having something that everybody in the streaming space cares about and talks about. And it's an incredible accomplishment. In comparison to other awards in other areas of creativity, what the fuck is everybody complaining about? In film, they have the Academy Awards, which is a prestigious group of critics and creators of art who review films in the industry, and they select performances in films and various technical roles for special highlight status for taking the art of filmmaking to a new level, whether it's the performances or the stories or the technical achievements. That's the Academy Awards. It's an organization, an institution. That's more than just one person and their friends. They have the Golden Globes, which is the Hollywood foreign press. So reporters from France, Britain, Japan, South Korea, Germany, Canada, Mexico, Spain, you know, all the foreign Hollywood press come together and they recognize artists and actors and directors in similar ways for their achievements in film. You have the SAG Awards, the Screen Actors Guild, the formal union of the actors come together and they put together a prestigious award program, excellence in acting. You have BAFTA. You have the Toadies, which is a similar situation for plays. You have the Grammys, which is similar for music. These are institutions that exist, that have built up over decades. It isn't just a small friend group. And I think the thing that sucks about streamers is we haven't built any of those institutions. We haven't built any of those institutions. And that's really the problem with the Streamer Awards. The problem with the Streamer Awards is even if Cutie Cinderella runs it completely fairly and isn't biased and doesn't eliminate people based on, say, sponsor viability or whatever personal decision making goes on behind closed doors that we can't see. That reality is what creates the suspicions of bias. And until there's an institution that can be seen as somewhat objective, even though we all know it wouldn't be, the awards are going to be plagued by this kind of annoying, meritless, but nonetheless suspected tampering. As I said before, it's not on Cutie Cinderella to create these institutions, but they don't exist. And that's really what I find more condemnable. That's what sucks. Aren't the critics of streamers chat though? How do you make an institution of chat? You're not critics. The streamer awards are basically what I would call the People's Choice Awards. The streamer awards are the awards. They are the popcorn bin of Rotten Tomatoes, not the tomato. I'll give you an example of what I'm talking about. An example of what I'm talking about is the film Uncut Gems. Uncut Gems has a 91 on Rotten Tomatoes from the critics, from professional critics, but a 52% on the popcorn meter. That is, I saw a Northern, no fucking way. I saw a Northern Lion clip on this. No fucking way. Okay, somebody find me the Northern Lion clip. You're capping right now. You're capping right now. You're capping right now. Show me the clip. Send me the clip. I want to see the clip. I'm sure his rant would be 10 times better than mine. Give me the clip. Is Adam Sandler Zionist? Almost certainly. But that's irrelevant, by the way. It's irrelevant for what we're saying, but he probably is.
It's okay. Okay, literally your favorite movie is probably a Spider-Verse or Puss in Boots. I don't need to treat you like you're a real human being. We did that already. We tried that, and it just empowered you, and it emboldened you to spread your awful film takes all over the internet. And now I have to live my life surrounded by people who are in their late 20s who have the film tastes of like a 14-year-old. And it's pissing me the fuck off. Oh, the movie made me feel uncomfortable. It's art, bitch! It's fucking art! That's what it's for! I'm gonna fucking explode! It's okay. Okay, literally your favorite movie is probably a Spider-Verse or Puss in Boots.
Uncut Gems is okay. Okay, we need more of these. This got cut off. Give me the full rant. Give me the full rant. You know what it reminds me of, chat? It reminds of my rant when I did this. Hold on. You are just too stupid to understand art. That's why you're dumb. Do you guys remember that rant? This isn't literally the same rant.
Am I crazy to say that this could be Uncut Gems? 52% audience ratings.
It went down from whatever he talked about this? Okay, no, it's still 52. Okay.
Literally are. Some people are worse than other people at being alive. And they're all on Rotten Tomatoes. 52% is so fucking insane. I look it up like once every 2 months, but it freaks me the fuck out that you could watch this movie and be like, I hate this movie. What did I miss? It was just people yelling for 90 minutes. I mean, it's the worst criticism of a film I've ever seen in my entire life. You literally sound like the people on Common Sense Media that were like, they took a shortcut by just using the F word a lot.
Find out who chatted that. I want to ban them in my chat. Find out whose chat he just read so I can ban them in my chat. I want to replay back what was just said. I want you to I don't think this person should be allowed to talk to other human beings.
Worst criticism would be like,
I actually think that they should probably be in solitary confinement. I know it's harsh. But I need you to hear what was said.
I hate this movie. What did I miss? It was just people yelling for 90 minutes.
What did I miss? It was just people yelling for 90 minutes. When I heard that the first time, I got angry. But now I'm so angry with that statement that I have transcended anger into a new level of homicidal rage, where I am just perfectly cold, where I am planning with malice aforethought to destroy that person. Like, I am not mad anymore. I have transcended anger. I want to plan. That take is not just bad. Bad is a word that I think we throw out a lot. It is the opposite of humanity. It is the purest distillation of capitalist treat consumer, of slob. It is the take of barely sentient American escapist consumerism. It's not just stupid, it's virulent stupidity. It is stupidity that, if it spreads to more people, will literally destroy humanity. It's not just wrong, communicable. It is malignant. It is a cancer of, and if you find yourself agreeing with it in any way, you need to apply a 135 grain treatment immediately. I legitimately cannot imagine a worse take. I don't think it's possible to have a worse take. That is the person that Netflix is making their shows for when they say it's on the other monitor while you're taking a shit. Like that's who Netflix says they need to make their content for. It's for people that have the it's like, you know, the show is in picture mode while they're scrolling TikTok. Okay? Like that's not just bad. I hate you. I don't know your name, but I hate you. And please, 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 please never interact with me, or more importantly, interact with anyone I might come in contact with. You have intellectual AIDS. I don't know how else to put it. Like, your brain is eating itself, and the only thing that you can by the way, I actually feel bad because HIV is treatable, and we should not do anything to I want to cancel myself right now because I don't think people that are HIV positive are a problem at all. And I would love to have a friend who is I don't care about that at all. I actually feel bad. I used AIDS as an analogy. I should say the plague, the Black Plague. Okay. Which by the way is curable with antibiotics and modern technology. I don't even think I have an analogy for this. I actually feel bad. I apologize for even using the word AIDS. I'm sorry. You're right. It's like MRSA. Okay. Thank you. It's like multi-antibiotic resistant MRSA. Did you see Hassan's sketch Female Anatomy in bed for an interview? Okay, we'll look at this.
I don't need to treat you like you're a real human being. We did that already. We tried that, and it just empowered you, and it emboldened you to spread your awful film takes all over the internet. And now I have to live
Somebody said, Mike, what is your favorite film of all time? Can I roast you for a second? Can I roast you for a second? I think that you have listicle brain. I think that is the brain. That is the question of a toddler. I'm being honest. Film is a highly emotional medium. And when I watch a movie, I almost have to be preheated. I need to have my emotional state in the correct alignment with the film's philosophy. And whether or not a film achieves the emotional objectives it sets out to do depends upon me, the audience, as much as the film as well, and the conditions and the surroundings. You know what I mean? Like, what I'm trying to tell you is that the right movie for right now, the most perfect movie for me right now, changes based on the stage of my life I'm in, the emotional status I'm in, whether I had a good day or a bad day, whether I need beauty and love, or I need to be shaken and braced and exposed to life's darker truths. It changes. It's not, I don't have a film that represents the complexity of me or you. I don't have one film that I adopt as my personality and I inject it into myself. Movies have different objectives and different things they're supposed to be doing. So I have a lot of films I appreciate, but I don't have my favorite movie is Marvel. I really liked Endgame. That's my favorite. No, I don't have that shit. Okay? I don't. And I don't like the way that capitalism, and yes, it is capitalism. Do you think they were doing listicles in the Soviet Union? 5 movies for the Soviet citizen. Like, you know, the listicle video that was playing. Okay? How about we step back, we stop doing our marketing gimmick, and we just talk about movies that moved you? Why don't we just talk about movies that maybe they're even flawed themselves, but they had some part of them really touched you? Can we talk about that? Can we do that? Can we lower the fucking temperature? Can we lower the expectation of the perfect film and just talk about films that touched you artistically? Is that so much? Can we do that? The Long Walk was a very moving movie that really made me think about how we leave people behind in the current world order. I'm not sure I'm familiar with that. Have I watched Pluribus? Oh, my Pluribus takes. My Pluribus takes. I don't know if you guys are ready for my Pluribus takes. I think I might. I don't want to give my take until season 1 is complete. I don't want to give my take until season 1. I'm watching it. I am interested. It's good. But I have a very political way of viewing shows like this. How could you not? Because it's about humanity marshaling its resources and changing. It's about radical change on the planet. And the main character is a white American who wants to go back to the way things used to be. So I am not quite ready to give my take, but let me just say If the goal is to make me absolutely despise the main character and disagree with every single thing she's doing, then they're doing it. They're succeeding. I hope that's the point, but I don't know. I don't know. Because I kind of feel like the movie lingers on too many dumb arguments that are embarrassing. Like when she recorded that video and she's like, and you're gonna miss your individuality when they finally absorb you into the hive mind. Also, the hive mind having like ending all wars and that being bad for humanity is some conserva brain bullshit. Can I just, there's two things. First, they have to nerf the hive mind and make it stupid. That's the first thing. They have to nerf the hive mind and make it stupid, because if they didn't make it stupid, well then obviously it would be good. So they have to be like, oh, but everyone's starving. Oh God, you know, we're not allowed to pick fruit. We can't pick any fruit, and we can't interfere with any life. And it's like, bitch, the human body is a battlefield. Our body is killing fucking eukaryotes and bacteria and funguses and viruses. It's a fucking war. Our immune system is spitting out fucking weapons of mass destruction 24/7, killing shit. Okay, the human body is killing shit left and right. What the fuck are you talking about? So the hive mind has some sort of arbitrary multicellular bias, which is inherently a human. It's inherently a human-oriented, like medium-sized perspective to have. What's the difference between a fucking corn stalk and a bacteria? If we're really talking about life, it's the same fucking shit. If we're gonna have that as an argument, right? So being human is or any multicellular organism, even single-celled organisms eat other cells. Like it just doesn't make sense. Okay, they have to do that because they need to create this like the hive mind is communism winning, and it's a destruction of individuality, which leads to starvation. Yuck, yuck, yuck. Maybe I'm overinterpreting. And the other thing is, Vince, you're not smart enough for this premise. You're wrong. We could actually make food from petroleum. If we really wanted to adopt this philosophy where we did not want to interfere with any living creature, plant or animal, we could make sugar from petroleum. It just takes energy. The only reason we don't do it is because plants do it better and more efficiently with photosynthesis. They make sugars from using the energy of the sun, and that's efficient. But you can make sugars with air and electricity, or petroleum and electricity cheap. Like if you needed to make sugars and you wanted to make food, you could make food purely from the air and electricity, literally. That is called chemistry. And it seems like he doesn't understand that. I mean, and he's like, well, we're all just gonna starve to death. And it's like, he had to like create this nerf. And by the way, this is me being really autistic. I just hate the premise. He couldn't come up with anything better, that we're all going to starve to death because we can't figure out how to feed the world while also not doing horrible crimes to plants and animals. Like, come on. Mike is alchemy built. It's not alchemy. It's called chemistry. What the fuck do you think a plant does? They literally take air and water and sunlight and they put it together and they make sugar. That's what happens in the fucking chloroplasts, motherfucker. Humanity could do the same thing with technology if we needed to. What I'm trying to say is, I mean, I get the point. Like, I'm being kind of a midwit here, which is fine, which is why I'm saying I'm holding it back by judgment until the full season is completed, so I can understand what he's trying to argue and what he's trying to say. In the direction we're going, I think it's stupid, unless I'm missing something, which I may be. I may be missing something, but I don't think in the time of Trump, a show whose premise is we need to be more individualistic and the world used to be better back in the old days, and we need to do radical reactionary politics to change things back so that a white American woman from Arizona or New Mexico could get her way and go back to making vapid fucking, like, I know that's not the message, which is why I'm like, this can't be the message. This can't be the message. Vince is too smart for this. So I know I'm missing something. So I'm waiting to see the rest of the season before I drop. But like right now, I'm watching it like, and the other thing that really bothers me is how come none of the non-aligned people are actually dedicating their time to helping the hive solve problems? Like all of them are just sitting back in delusional mode like idiots, are doing like hedonism. And it's like the hero that's going to be an ally of the American is a Latin American conservative shut-in. He's going to help set back reactionary politics. He's going to set the rest of the world back. I hope I'm missing something. Again, I hope I'm missing something. Also, who hates his own mother, which is a huge red flag. Misogynist who hates his own mother. I'm just like, maybe I'm overinterpreting it. I'm still waiting. I'm not going to draw a conclusion yet. But so far, I'm like, this is not what I expected. I'm going to let him cook, though. Some people genuinely have bad mothers, Mike. In art, when we're interpreting art, we have to go off of what is shown or displayed or strongly implied by the scenes that actually take place. You're not supposed to eject your own baggage that has absolutely nothing to do with what is being presented on the screen into it in order to justify a character's actions. That is weird. If you hate your mother, see a character on screen who says, "My mother's a bitch," and then you go like, "Yeah, so is mine." That's not what's being communicated by. That's you injecting an interpretation that has no relation to what's happening on screen. So when you have a character saying, "I hate my own mother," that's not supposed to be, you're not supposed to be like, "Well, some mothers are bad." You're supposed to be like, what has the mother done on screen, or what has been revealed to me so far for me in order for me to judge that? It's like, I'll give you an example. A character walks on screen and full length kicks a puppy, killing it. Now you could say, well, puppies could have rabies. That puppy could have had rabies. But unless you see the fucking mouth foaming, you're supposed to interpret that as psychotic and evil. Now, there's ways to interpret this. A better argument would be like, Mike, this is telling you why he resists the Hive's manipulations, because they're using his mother, which is weird because you would think they would know that he doesn't like his mother because she has his mother's thing. So it's either a plot hole or he's psychotic. Because if the Hive mind would know, hey, his mother always mistreated him, so let's not send and his mother hates him, so let's not send his mother as our diplomat, right? They would understand that because they would have the Hive mind brain. So the only way, so either it is a plot hole or he's psychotic. Neither one is good. Again, you asked me about Pluribus. I'm giving you my take so far, which is it's kind of fuck up. It's kind of fucking up. I'm sussy of it. I'm sussy of it. I gotta be honest. I'm sussy of it. He had Asmund syndrome and trusted no one, so his mother is the closest. Yes, and he's the hero. Mike, he called her a bitch to signal his alignment with Carol, not a reference to his previous relationship with his mom. Carol called his mom a bitch on the phone. Yes, she did. But she was insulting him because he wouldn't pick up her phone call. And he said so she said the curse words she knows in Spanish because, again, she's a white lady from New Mexico who somehow doesn't know any Spanish. The hero, by the way. All I'm saying is I know Vince is going to land this plane. I'm waiting for how he's going to land this plane. But so far, if the goal is to make me go, the hive mind is stupid and can't solve simple problems, and the hero sucks and I hate her, which I don't usually do. Like, I was a Skylar supporter. I'm a Skylar supporter. She was right. Skylar was right. All right. Like, I liked how he wrote Skylar. I thought that was how a real human being would act. That's how the stay-at-home wife of a chemistry teacher who had young children would act if she found out that her husband was fucking trying to sell drugs. Okay. She was a human being that exists. All right. The only people that don't like her are, as I said, the people that thought Uncut Gems was just 90 minutes of yelling. Okay. But she fucked Ted because she should have fucked Ted. Walt was committing all sorts of crimes without her fucking say so, and putting her whole entire family in jeopardy. And it was her only way of seizing her own power again and not just being a cowed fucking non-entity that was an abuse victim. She finally stood up to Walt and said, oh, you think you could just do whatever you want? So can I. Fuck you, Walt. That was fucking based. I'm glad she did. Now Ted sucks. Meanwhile, Walt is fucking poisoning children and murdering people, including someone that he knew and was friendly with because he was competition to Walt's control. Again, Walt sucks. It is evil. If you want a real tragic character, that is Saul. Saul Goodman is the tragic character. Walt is the piece of shit. Better Call Saul is a million times better than Breaking Bad, and it's not even funny. And I do think Better Call Saul, if I was like gonna sit down and watch a show right now, I think I would watch that show because that show rocks. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, Okay. Pluribus, so far, sussy and not quite intelligent enough. I need something. I need a twist. Because right now it's not hitting for me. It's not hitting for me. And I love Vince and I love the actress who plays Carol. There's so much there, but it's not cooking for me. It's not hitting for me. There's too much that I'm like, even the HDP, which I'm not going to explain what that is, but even HDP, from a purely utilitarian perspective, I could understand it, right? Like I could understand it from a purely utilitarian perspective. I get it, but I think it's almost like low IQ bait. It's like to get the low IQ members of the audience to think the hive mind is evil or something. And it's just like, I don't agree with it. I find it disgusting. I find it to be, you know, kind of vile, but at the same time, it's like, I kind of understand. Did you talk about how Andor didn't even get a nod at the awards? They did. You're wrong. They won best writing. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? They did. Andor won best writing, which they deserved. Andor's Dan Gilroy wins the Emmy for writing for a drama series. That's literally the highest possible award for writing in television. Not only did they not get snubbed, Dan Gilroy got the highest possible award for writing in a television series. Anyway, sorry, chatter. Chat, should I watch Andor if I don't like and do not see anything about Star Wars? Yes. In fact, I actually think you're the type of person that maybe should watch Andor and then immediately forget Star Wars exists, because nothing compares except for Empire Strikes Back. Every other piece of Star Wars media sucks except for that compared to Andor. Why do I recommend Andor? Andor is the only piece of mainstream media that actually understands what a revolution looks like. It is the first piece of art that actually treats revolutions like a real thing, that is studied and intelligent, and it recognizes the human costs of waging something like that, and it reckons with the idea of what rebellion really is and what it costs. I literally do not think that there's another piece of mainstream, like, broad art that I think could compare on that. John Stewart on Andor.
I'm literally watching Andor's mining resources underneath Gorman, the materials that they need to fuel the Death Star, as they're signing the mineral agreement in Ukraine.
You know, I was thinking more like Venezuela, Iraq, Gaza, as opposed to Ukraine, but okay, sure, Ukraine.
It's happening as I'm watching it.
I mean, mostly it makes me, my overwhelming feeling over the past 3 months and going out and sell the show is really, it's sadness. I mean, it's sad. There's a Tolkien had a whole thing about, he didn't like allegory. He didn't like people making comps to his work, to world, but he was really into applicability. He wanted it to be applicable to your life. So I'm not exactly sure how wide that he takes that term, but to me, it's been shocking to go around the world. We went around the world selling the show, and every place we went, because I really didn't want to, particularly in the beginning, I didn't want to have the show get ghettoized by being left or right or political or whatever. We're really surfing through. But every journalist, every interview that we did, everywhere we went, people were finding ways to take things, the same incident, and make it applicable for them. Oh, this is Gaza. This is Ukraine. This is Northern Ireland. This is this. This is me, man. This is me. This is us. And it's very sad. I do worry, as I said before, I do worry that that we're into a different situation with tech. I wonder if like if our fallacy is that we've been going along going, oh, here's all these revolutions and we know everything about a revolution, and Mike's done all these shows about it, and Tony's written all this stuff, and it's all codified, and you just pick one from column A, from column B. I wonder if there isn't another page in the book that we haven't seen, and that's the page that we're on now, and that's the one that worries me the most of all. Then the tech side of it, the AI side of it, and the lack of any kind of accountability to that that's what would keep me up at night more than anything.
All right, I am going to really compliment Tony. I know how the show got made. He is so intelligent. He literally told you what the inspirations were. He literally told you what they were by saying, other people are always saying it is Gaza, Ukraine, and Northern Ireland. He literally told you what he used as motivations because no one brought that shit. Jon Stewart brought up Ukraine, but he brought up Gaza. He brought up Northern Ireland. He literally did it, but he put it in the voice of the other so that Disney couldn't yell at him. But he got you thinking about that. He got you going, oh, it is like Gaza. Oh, it is like Northern Ireland. And then he said, oh, I don't want it to get, put into this box of left or right or political. What he was trying to say is he wants this to be as broad as possible because he's making a Disney show. And he did. And what happens with people is if they put you in a box like political, they don't even look at it. I want you guys to understand that one of the strongest weapons that the establishment has is they put you, they say, oh, don't talk about that. Oh, it's political. Oh, ew, that's not commercial because it's political. You can't put any ads on that. So you better not talk about it because you're not going to make any money with your show. And I think that's something that's also really interesting is he then made it very political with a direct attack on AI and mass surveillance. He just made a direct attack on Peter Thiel, Palmer Luckey, Elon Musk, and all the AI guys. He literally just ended it with an extremely relevant political attack. How are you guys not seeing this? Like, are you okay? Like, again, there's people like me who speak directly, and you know what I mean when I say it because I say it very directly. And then there's other people that are doing one layer, and this is not very subtle. I'm sorry if you think he's being evasive or not, or subtle, or like, wow, you watch too much me. You watch too much me because it's not subtle. It's very clear what he's talking about. He's saying this show is about Gaza, Northern Ireland, and Ukraine, and also, hey, Palmer Luckey and Elon Musk and Peter Thiel are really evil guys, and I worry we're not going to be able to do a revolution because they're going to have some fucking like panopticon surveillance state that's unaccountable. That's what he just said. All right. And that's my cover. We had a long segment of me talking about politics and shows and whatnot. I'm excited for Pluribus's end conclusion. As I said before, right now, if the last episode was the season finale, I would not recommend the show. But I felt the same way about Severance. But they landed they docked the boat in the season finale. It's such a good way. It's such a satisfying way that I liked Severance after that. I was not a Severance fan until literally the season 1 finale. And then I was like, okay, maybe Severance isn't so bad. So I liked Severance a lot after the season finale, but I had similar kind of like, I don't know if they're going to be able to pull this off. And they did. So I enjoyed the end. I like it. Everything got cast in a certain light. You know what I mean? Like all of the ambiguities were resolved in such a way as I was like, okay, this show is actually really good. I thought the last season was pretty good. Not as good as the first season. I let her free bleed. Is he talking about Kaya? This interview was TMI. I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sure it is.
Could you draw female anatomy?
This is like mostly reconstructing from memory.
Wow, this is accurate. I'm going to frame this.
Would you rather have one
I love this question.
month-long period, but it's like a month of bleeding?
Do you see yourself as a hot fireman of democracy?
This is a great question. I'm going to be honest. I feel for this man.
Me too. OMG. We are minutes away from a very special guest entering the bedroom.
This is like one of those shows where like, I'm glad it exists, but it's really not for me. You know what I mean? Like, and that's okay. Not everything has to be for me, right? You know, I'm glad it exists. I'm sure it's a lot of fun, but it's for the girly pops.
His name is Hassan Piker. You may have heard about him. This is how famous I knew he was, is that I told my mom he was coming and she was like, oh yeah. And I was like, you know who a streamer? Like that's how famous he is. He is the most famous streamer in the world, I think. I don't know. I'm just going to say that. It's very American to assume that because he's the most famous one here. He's the most famous one everywhere, but he and I have known each other for a long time. We were little journalist babies in the 2010s during the lib paradise of the 2010s. He was at the Young Turks. I was at Vox, and we were both doing video journalism sort of as a new thing. And now he's totally blown up. He gets name dropped in everything. He gets name dropped by like Tucker Carlson. He gets name dropped in the Mamdani New York mayoral debate. Actually, that happened. Play the tape.
The assemblyman will not denounce Hassan Piker.
He basically is the internet's North Star when it comes to understanding men. He has been profiled in so many different, really, I'm talking about him like...
I'm not trying to be a hater. I'm not trying to be a hater.
His proud mom, but like I am really so proud of him. He's been profiled in so many different newspapers and media outlets and podcasts and, you know, magazines, like basically about the fact that he is a progressive feminist mind inside a MAGA body, which we're going to ask him how he feels about that. But he's basically talking to millions of young men through his extremely popular streaming channel every day. And so he understands men.
No, guys that look like Hassan are not MAGA. They're just men with body dysmorphia who are obsessed with some ideal form of themselves, so they spend all their time in the gym. Okay, let's be honest.
Probably better than any other person on the face of the earth, or the modern man in 2025, more than probably anybody. But yeah, instead of using...
MAGA are 55-year-old white men with beer guts and an F-350 that's never seen the mud. Okay, that's MAGA body. All right, like that is not... MAGA body is not super and fit 32-year-olds 33-year-olds, I don't remember how old Hassan is, who live in Los Angeles. Like, what are we doing here?
That knowledge that he has of what millions of men think about and how they think for evil, like a lot of guys that won't be named, he's using it for good and trying to fight for a better world for all of us. So we're extremely excited to have him on the show. And oh my God, wait, is he here? Oh, he's here. Hassan, I bought you some jet lag eye patches because I know you just got back from China.
Yeah.
Do you want to put them on? Have you ever done these?
No.
Do you want to do it?
Sure. I don't think I've ever done those.
Okay, so
I mean, maybe.
Are you a face mask?
He's doing Instagram voice. He's doing Instagram voice. Okay, guys, I'm gonna have to do Instagram voice. If he continues doing Instagram voice, I'm gonna have to do Instagram voice too. I'm gonna do, you and I are on a Discord call and it's 3 a.m. voice. If he keeps going, I'm gonna have to do my 3 a.m. Discord call voice. All right?
Mask kind of guy. Are you a skincare king?
No, I'm not. You might have noticed I already have like acne patches. That's like a relatively new thing.
Ooh, do you want a cute one? Because I have Hello Kitty ones.
Sure, we can swap it out for Hello Kitty ones. But yeah, I don't usually do a lot of like face masks or like any sort of skincare.
Yeah, I mean, personally, VO is like, Mike, you should be on tretinoin, you know, because VO is like a skincare queen. She's like, you should be on like tretinoin, Mike. And I'm like, no one cares. Literally no one cares about my skin condition. Like, let's be honest. So I like going out in the sun. You know, I don't want my skin to fucking flake off because I went outside for 10 minutes. So like, you know, I don't know about that. What are you doing with your voice? I'm doing Instagram voice like Hassan. This is what I would do. This is our 3 a.m. Discord call, you and me. You know, we're in the call. We're kind of getting sleepy. We've been talking all day. You know, don't try to deepen it. I am keeping it natural. This is me not projecting. This is me just talking at a low voice. I do a lot of projecting when I'm normally talking. This is probably closer to how I'm talking normally. You know. I'm not like, if I try to deepen it, it'd be like that.
But I have put a mask on before. Like, every now and then I like getting in the hot tub. You know?
We should have done this in the hot tub. You should do your podcast in the hot tub. If I had a hot tub.
That's so funny you say that because one of my podcast co-hosts has a show and it is in the tub literally. And he's been trying to get me to do it. But I feel like I've gained too much weight.
What are you talking about? You're the hottest person.
I need to be in better shape to do it.
I was trying to think of like the last time we hung out. It's like, when's the last time I like actually hung out with Hassan? And it's been years. We were at the Streamy Awards. Do you remember that? All I remember from the Streamy Awards was you drove us all the way to the west side. My best friend was in Town Cat. All I remember is that there was like a donut wall at the party.
Yeah.
And you and I were like much more excited about it. No,
donut
you know what?
wall was very millennial core.
It is very millennial so core. I feel like we were more excited than everyone else. Now that I look back, I think we had the correct amount of excitement and everyone else was like not excited enough about the donut wall.
I feel like Donut Wall is like Mumford and Sons, you know what I mean? It's from a bygone era. Like,
oh, I miss it.
Yeah.
What do you miss the most about living out? Like the live paradise of the 2010s?
I don't know. Not really much, because I've always been a little bit more to the left than the average liberal for quite a while now. So I'm glad that there's more people who are becoming more aggressive, you know?
Should I take off your...
Yeah, you can take it off here. Just put I'll just rip this off.
This, by the way, chat, is why I value Hassan. Because first of all, I would never get invited to this. That's number one. Number two, I couldn't fake it. Like, it would be bad vibes. I'd be like, so is this what you do all the time? Is this what you do all the time? Does this work for you? The vibes would be absolutely miserable. The vibes would be miserable. I'd get a blanket. I'd be sitting up straight in the bed. I'd be like, this isn't comfortable. This isn't how we have a conversation. This is not a good time. This is a bad time. This is like inappropriate. Like this is inappropriate. Like the vibes are off. We don't have that kind of relationship to be snuggled up in a bed. Like this ain't it. I don't like this. This is bad.
And then you can put that one on
This
instead.
is exciting. This is what we're doing, guys.
Yeah.
These are very good acne patches.
Okay, I believe
it's
you.
a Hello Kitty, but she's like a little bit like a rebel because she has stars as eyes.
Okay.
Should I do an acne patch in solidarity of you?
It's up to you if you got
I should
acne.
do it.
If
His
you want to
vibes
do
are
it.
fine. His vibes are fine. I'm saying hypothetically my vibes in the same position.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it.
You don't even have acne.
I know, but it's like solidarity.
That's
like
crazy.
I'm asking for male solidarity. I'm asking for male allies, and like I have to also, I have to walk the talk when it comes to allyship.
Putting on Hello Kitty acne patches. Yes. Thank you.
I know that's what men have been asking for years. Actually, what do men want from women? Like truly, though.
What do men want from women? I can't speak for all men, but I will speak for myself. I want somebody of equal moral and somebody who has the same values as I do, somebody who is a companion, somebody who will let me be a little gay guy to them. You know what I mean? And not gay and the sexually attracted to men, just being cutesy and loving and affectionate and exist without having judgment or having to project some bullshit fucking mask. I want somebody who's going to be patient for my emotional lack of depth and help me plumb new depths, which is not their responsibility. I recognize that is what I think you should want from a woman. And also somebody who will hold you accountable to be your best self, like not somebody to dominate, not somebody to lord over, not somebody to tell you what to do or to tell them what to do, but somebody who is your actual true equal, another adult. And when you're struggling, they'll take some things off your plate. And when they're struggling, you take things off their plate. You're talking about stereotypical gender expressions, not sexuality. Saying gay for that isn't great. Men being loving and like cutesy is stereotypical gender expression. Calling for an equal is stereotypical gender expression. Where the fuck are you from? Norway? Like, where the fuck are you from?
A lot.
Where should I put it?
Too much.
Too much? You think we're asking for too much?
No, men are asking for too much from women.
Oh.
I mean, I don't know. I just feel like the average guy, they just want like a companion, I think.
Yeah, companionship.
But there are a lot of people who are very upset and very angry on the internet that just like go to like these very insecure manosphere guys for advice. And I feel like that advice is just pushing them further and further away from women. And I think those guys, those men, they're boys or they behave like young boys. Mm-hmm. The things that they want out of women is for women to go away, I think.
Yeah, that's the thing that I'm getting.
They don't even want to like dominate women almost at this point. They just want to like be away from women, it seems like.
But it's like I hate you.
I think what most people are too afraid to say is they want someone they could be emotionally vulnerable with. I think that's what people really want. I that's what I want in my spouse. I want someone that I could be emotionally vulnerable with, but also not have that affect our attraction for each other, which I think is also very, 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 very important. You could be emotionally vulnerable with the person. Now, if I'm going to be completely honest about me, I'm kind of emotionally numb. I am not somebody who feels, I don't need to be propped up a lot from the outside. To be honest with you, I could be alone in a room, you know, like I could be a deep space exploration guy. Like if NASA was like, okay, we're going to send you off into space, you're not going to see another person for 6 months. I could do that. I literally could do that. That being said, I enjoy other people. I like being gregarious. I like conversations. I like spending time with people. I'm not like antisocial. I'm just saying that emotionally, I'm not constantly clinging on to other people to prop myself up. You should try a silent meditation retreat for 10 days. Yeah. I'm very much from the older male generation of I keep my shit inside at all times, but I'm not stupid enough to understand if I need to let some things out. So true. The number of married couples I know who are literally wouldn't even be friends if they weren't married is insane, especially among older people. I don't understand it at all. My spouse and I are best friends and equals. So true. You got to be best friends with your spouse.
You know, don't leave me. That somehow is supposed to appeal to us. Yeah, it feels like a punishment. It feels like when a toddler doesn't get what they want and then they run into the other room. But I think one of the most interesting things about you right now, I was doing your intro and like I sounded like I was like your proud big sister or something. I was like, you've become this poster child for this kind of novel masculinity, for lack of a better word. And people have said that you have this like feminist brain, this progressive brain inside this MAGA body.
Yeah, that was the New York Times that said that.
How did that sit with you?
I feel like MAGA bodies don't look like this.
What do they look like?
I don't think that's like, the New York Times has not been to like a Oklahoma City Walmart. If they think that's what this is what the average MAGA body looks like. No, I mean, I do have a bro-y aesthetic for sure. The way I carry myself, the way I speak. Yeah. I know that is a barrier of entry for some, as a matter of fact. Like I've heard that from people where people will be like, I thought you were right wing, or I thought you were reactionary. I thought you were a bro. I thought you were a dude bro. And I thought your politics resembled like the Barstool crowd or something. So I look like that and I sound like that, but my worldview is very different, I guess. And that juxtaposition can be interesting for people, but it's just who I am.
Yeah.
You know?
Do guys approach you and like they think you're one of them and then they say stuff to you that's like are you sort of an undercover man in that way? Like alpha guy?
I mean, sure. That's just normal. I think that happens all the time for sure.
And what do they say?
You want to know the tea? You think men have like extra layers of misogyny that they're hiding? It's the same thing that they say on camera. You know?
Okay, I'm talking about 2010's Lib Paradise when Megyn Kelly was our feminist hero. She wasn't our feminist hero, but she would be on the Today Show being like, the Me Too movement is the best, you know, and we'll play the tape.
And that article opened the door for so many women and men who had previously felt powerless to come forward and tell their stories.
That was the era of a lot of Fox News anchors who were...
Mike says, hi, Mike, therapist here. You are correct. This chatter knows how to get their message read. We want somebody to be vulnerable with. We also want people to connect with and feel safe, secure, and wanted by others. Often we lose our authenticity in early childhood and give it up for attachment to have a feeling of what a child would view as a safety from their primary caregiver. I understand that completely. Also, I'm not that. But I get what you're saying. I have a very stern countenance. And it is, I'm not saying it's good. When somebody is doing something, my first instinct isn't, oh, let's find the empathy. My first instance is, you can do better than that. My first reaction is like, you're stronger than that. So that's what I'm working on. That's what I'm working on right now. Like, I'm not like a person who leads with like, oh, you failed? Oh, it was outside of your control. My first instinct is, did you really try? And I don't suffer fools gladly. So I'm working on that. Your first reaction is to blurt out in condescending laughter. No. My biggest flaw is that I think deeply about what everyone else says, and then I start thinking of things that might be a problem, and then I start asking them about it. Like, so if somebody's like, "Oh, I'm gonna do X thing today," I'm gonna be like, and I'll be like, "Oh, I'll actually be deeply interested in it," and I'll be like, "Okay, well, how are you doing that?" And I'll like start asking follow-up questions. And then if I see like a problem that might arise, I start going like, well, I see this problem. What are you going to do about that? Which to me is a logical conversation that we're having. But to many other people, it feels like you are being a naysayer. And I get that. So I'm trying to learn to filter a little bit better. Because, you know, let people live. Let people live. Let people learn from making some minor mistakes. Is that due to a military background? My family does that a lot. I think that is where it comes from. I think that's how my parents always acted to me. If I was like, I'm going to make myself a pizza today, they'd be like, okay, how are you making the pizza? I would go through it.
Talking about the sexual harassment that was going on at Fox News.
Yeah.
And then you go, but it was all on tape. Obviously they did a lot of things behind the scenes and that's not acceptable. But if you watch Fox News, like they were just sexually harassing the women on air.
Yeah, I'm so glad that they learned their lesson and that never happens anymore. Jesse Waters on Fox News still. Greg Buttfeld on Fox News.
Yeah.
But especially Jesse Waters. Like, what happened?
It's wild that he still has a show. How much of this is connected to insecurity? Like you're in there, you're talking to millions of men like every single day. Like, is it 90%?
Sure.
Is it 99%? Like
It's
what
all of it. All of it is insecurity. 100%. Yes. I think it all stems from insecurity. There's a real crisis of confidence amongst young men, what their expectations are, what they've been told. A sense of entitlement that they have grown up with doesn't match the realities. Then they desperately seek out alternative reasons as to why their current existence does not match the expectations that were set for them.
Yeah.
I think in that breakdown, they're in a very vulnerable state and they look for alternatives, and the alternatives are often presented by weak, insecure men praying.
I don't think it's just, I think Hasan is underselling it. It's not just alternatives, okay? It's not just alternatives. It is ego assuagement. This is probably the number one flaw that took me, I'm in my 40s now. I did not understand this as a motivator until probably a couple years ago, which is ego assuagement. People do not like to self-examine. So if you're like, if people have something that's failing or something that's not living up to their expectations, or they're not succeeding, or their life is not where they explain it to be, they will pick an explanation that removes their agency. They will choose something that gives them an external locus of control. And then people love to ascribe causes to agents. False attribution of agency. So, in other words, external locus of control, ego assuagement, and then finally, scapegoat. Those are the most attractive, fallacious explanations for failure. And I am not like that. I want to succeed. So when I fail, I'm like trying to blame myself even when it's not my fault. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I want to succeed the next time. So I'm always thinking like, okay, what could I have done differently? And I'm like, I'm a ruminator. I'm not like this. So for me, this is where I get short-circuited, because I'm like, wait a minute, you're blaming immigrants? What the fuck are you talking about? Immigrants? That for me is insane. It's like, huh?
On the youth's vulnerabilities, and it's the Manosphere podcast sphere that comes in and says like, yeah, women don't want to date you because they don't understand that you're a good guy and there's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing that you need to like internalize or fix about yourself or anything like that. No need for constructive criticism. It's actually because women are bad and wrong.
Why is this a therapy session? This is us talking about the way people are, which has the form of a therapy session if you've never gone to therapy. We're more doing psychology here than we are therapy, but it's okay.
Right.
And feminism and the Democratic Party and all this stuff. It just like branches off into all these different places. But it definitely starts off with insecurity, at least like from my own experience talking to young men, and even my own experience as a young man a long time ago. I feel like it was at my most vulnerable, at my most insecure, that I found myself, seeking out answers. And I could have probably become one of these dickheads too. You know?
What saved you? Like thinking back, what was the turning point where you were at that crossroads where you could have gone that way, but you decided to go on an off ramp? Like, what was that off ramp?
I think I have positive role models in my life, like positive male role models in general. I started interacting with women. That's it. That's pretty much what it was. I started interacting with women. I started communicating with them. I started dating women.
Yeah.
I started seeing some success.
Yeah.
And I think it shed away my fear of talking to women in general. It shed away my fear of rejection. And then slowly but surely, I realized, you know, women are just like us.
Yeah,
which is such a crazy thing to say. It's such a crazy thing to say out loud.
Yeah.
But low key, I think some dudes need to hear that. Women are just like, they're like guys, but with boobs.
With boobs. We're guys with boobs.
And then sometimes they don't have boobs, and that's also fine.
Yeah.
Or vagina. It's all fine.
Right.
You know, all of it is good. And you shouldn't worry about that.
I love that, what you just said. And it's a perfect segue into a game I wanted to do with you, which is, what's your confidence that you could like locate
What, the clitoris? Is that what you're gonna, or the G-spot or something?
yeah, the clitoris on a topographical map?
On a topographical map?
Yeah.
Oh, easy.
Could you draw female anatomy? Could you make us?
I don't know if I can draw the female anatomy.
Just try.
Okay.
We make every guest do it.
Let's do it. Okay. I didn't know there was a drawing portion.
I mean, I should have prepped you better.
I can't do the full like uterus, vagina. Like I don't.
Do
you want me to draw that, or do you want me to draw just like the?
Oh, this is easy. What? This is easy. I could do this all. This is fucking easy. I'm gonna roast the fuck out of Hassan on this.
Clitoris.
I'm gonna hold your mic.
Okay. Do you want me to draw?
Is he doing external genitalia?
The whole thing, or do you want me to just draw the clitoris? Because if I'm gonna draw the,
Which one do you feel more comfortable with?
I could do like the labia, like boom, boom, and then like that maybe.
That's the labia. Wow, this is accurate. What's that part?
I'm just doing the legs and stuff. There you go. There you go.
Whoa. Okay, so where's the clitoris?
That's the clitoris.
Good job.
He forgot the anus.
The button.
The button?
Right there.
He forgot
the button.
the anus.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Where do women pee?
From inside of here, but it's confusing. And I don't know. And it scares me.
He literally drew it. He doesn't know.
Okay, and then where's the butt?
The butt
He drew the urethral opening and he doesn't even know.
goes. I mean, this is just like this is just the front. This is the full frontal. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but it
yeah,
like
yeah. The butt's
if
right
it went
there.
back, if it went back, it's like an area, and then the butthole is there.
It's actually a
Okay,
really
can
good
you rate
drawing
it?
for
So
freehand.
we have a complete. I'm gonna frame
honestly
this.
impressive.
It's really uplifting.
Okay.
Wow, got it.
Okay,
Clitoris.
and then
the
here,
butt.
we'll do the
he
butt
drew
like
it.
right here. We can just
there
like
it
kind of
is.
draw it like.
Someone told me something yesterday at Thanksgiving. They were like, people with bigger butts fart more. It's the size of your butt cheeks. I was like, that's crazy. No, but they were really saying that
I think that no.
was
The
scientific.
butt doesn't generate the fart.
Butthole. Wow, this is like incredible.
Okay, where pee comes.
The pee doesn't come from the middle of the vaginal canal. What is he doing? What the fuck is he doing?
There you go.
Wow. I want to clap, but I'm holding both mics.
Okay.
This is incredible. Okay.
Do you think I did better than expected?
You did. You really did. But now I want you to draw the uterus and the female anatomy because you're really good.
Okay, that part is way more difficult, I think.
Really?
Because at least
You got the ovaries, you get the fallopian tube, it leads into the uterus, and then you have the cervix, which then connects to the vaginal canal. What the fuck hard? What's hard? What's hard? It's fucking easy.
I have enough experience with this.
This part?
This is like mostly reconstructing from memory. Okay, but the uterus stuff, like that's a lot. But
Okay, chat. I'm declaring hot guy privilege. There is no way that the 3,500 people in here could deliver that exact same line in that exact same way and get her to laugh. There's no way. There's no fucking way. That line sucked. It was kind of weird.
I can try.
Okay, let's try.
Yeah.
I believe in you because you
I
crushed
don't
this
think I'll
part.
be
Also, you're kind of good at drawing.
Well, that, like I said, is from memory. So this other part, I have no idea.
From your
how it's
mind.
gonna
Okay,
work.
just go inside your mind.
Okay. There's like the egg stuff, right? I think like this, and then it's just like that, and that's all I got. I have no idea.
This is excellent.
This is
Hassan.
Okay, now so he's okay. First of all, the ovaries are way too close to the uterus. There is no vaginal canal. What are you doing, man? Come on, you're an expert.
Point to the egg stuff.
Okay, this is the
egg stuff. Egg stuff would be a good name for a brunch place.
This is where the egg stuff falls into, I think. And then it's a period time.
Period time.
Yeah.
Okay, and then where's the uterus?
This would be it, right?
Okay, then write it. That's great.
Okay.
Take credit.
Uterus.
Where are the fallopian tube?
I assume these are the fallopian tubes. Like,
Great job.
I don't even know how to write that. Is it PH?
It's F-A-L-L-O-P-I-A-N.
F-A-L-L.
He didn't draw the ovarian cyst. Oh no. Poor Chatter.
P-I.
How you
I-A-N.
feeling, Chatter? Get a heating pad.
Tubes.
A-N. Fallopian tubes.
Wow. I feel like that's...
What is it, like uteral lining?
Uteral lining.
Uteral
You're
lining.
kind of blowing my mind.
Okay.
What does the uteral lining do?
I don't know. Creates a safe space for the fetus or something. I don't know.
That's so cute.
I don't know. That's where the eggs come out of, right?
Yes,
I'm
that's
fucking it
really
up.
true. No,
I told you. I was nailing it on the clitoris stuff.
You nailed the egg stuff.
Oh wow. Okay.
Also, wait, this reminds me of something. I saw this video. This is like not at all what I planned to do on the episode with you, but we're just gonna roll with it. There's this video going around. It's like of a period.
There's a video of a period.
Yes.
Okay.
You can see the whole. Let me find it. Period.
Like the contraction of the uterine wall and see the lining sloughing off? Is that what she's talking about?
Video.
That's
Do you know
a strange. That's gonna give you some strange results.
No, it's animated. Oh no, I don't have it. I'm so sad. Oh yeah. Oh fine.
Oh, you found it.
Okay. 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 Are you ready?
The first flow.
Okay.
Day 1 trial. The menstrual cycle begins. The thick lining of the uterus starts shedding, creating the first flow of the period. Day 2. This is the heaviest day. The uterus contracts more strongly, releasing the built-up tissue. Day 3 to 4.
I wish you were
The
saying
flow
this.
begins to lighten as the lining becomes thinner.
Day 4.
That's pretty crazy.
The period is becoming lighter as the uterus starts healing internally.
That looks exactly like your drawing.
Yeah, that's like a really, man, women really go through it, huh?
Day 5. The period comes to an end.
That's an atom bomb. What the hell?
Day 6 Mer.
Whoa.
Repair begins. New cells start.
That's like life on Mars.
Estrogen levels slowly rise.
Yeah.
Day 7. A fresh lining begins to grow inside the uterus.
Gosh, man, that's crazy. It really is incredible the amount of energy and resources that the human body goes through to prepare for reproduction. Isn't that incredible?
Wow, that's exactly like I drew it. That's crazy.
Day 8 Pilfo.
Does this because watching that gives me like I get war flashbacks.
Yeah.
It's so painful to have a period.
Yeah.
And this I wish you could see it.
That is pretty crazy. That just like half the population is. It's not even like a week-long process either. It's like it's longer than that.
It's a whole journey. What phase are you on, Sofala? Luteal. Oh my God, luteal's tough. It's a rough time, and here she is working up at 7 a.m. and I'm in my follicular, so I'm feeling pretty. Wait, what? Okay, what are the phases?
Oh, I have no idea.
What do you think is the follicular phase?
The follicular phase is you really want Haagen-Dazs ice cream, and
I mean, you always do.
That's why I'm throwing it out there. I just have no idea. I don't know. I think maybe it's like after the period is done.
Yes, Cindy, you know a lot
after the period
more
is done. Yeah,
than most guys. Okay, so how do you think women feel after their period's done? Like follicular, based on the word follicular.
They feel a lot better.
Yeah.
If this is again from personal experience, especially in comparison to how they feel during their period, I think there is like a week of there's like a barrier week of comfort.
It is. It's kind of the only week where you do feel like you're just a man, probably how a man feels all the time, where you're like, there's nothing kind of fucking with you. And actually follicular phase is right after the period, and it's when you're very entrepreneurial. You'll make a lot of plans you'll want to cancel when you're in your luteal phase or you're PMSing. You'll be very sharp. You'll be like on a Zoom and you're like, I'm killing it. Like I'm truly killing it.
Let me ask you this. So I have a lovely fur daughter. Her name is Kaya. Aww. And I got her spayed. But before I did, and she's very big. Before I got her spayed, I had to because,
she's hot, attracting all the the boys to the yard.
Well, it's not even that. It's just like, I think LA County, they want you to make sure that you spay and neuter, just like I neutered my pit bull back in the day.
Okay.
So, but before I did that, she used to get her periods. And that's when I was super tapped into like dog periods, because I had never had a female dog before. And I had to like do some reading on it. And let me tell you, and I'm going to ask you a question. I'm going to pose a question after this. Let me tell you, it's crazy. So they also obviously have the cycle system, but their cycle system is wild because it happens like, for her, it happened twice a year.
Oh.
And when it did, she's 120 pounds. Oh. So she was perioding like, you know, a 120-pound woman would be. Oh. She's so big that I couldn't put a diaper on her. So I just made her free bleed. I just made her free bleed, which was, you know, I have white couches at home, and it was a tough go. I guess my question, and it would go on, by the way, it would go on for a month and a half. So that's what I was going to pose the question for you. And not only that, but she also had like issues after as well, where she had like a pseudo pregnancy. She was pseudo pregnant, like she wasn't actually pregnant, but after her period, her body was behaving as though she was. Wow. So like she was lactating and all this stuff. That's also part of the reason why I got her.
I didn't know about this.
Spayed, because I didn't want her to like have any sort of additional complications down the line. But basically that part was really crazy too, because after she got pseudo pregnant twice, I was like, all right, well, like we have to, you know, the vet was like, we have to spay her at this point. Question for you though, aside from the pseudo pregnancy, would you rather have one
I love this
month-long period, but it's like a month of bleeding, which by the way, I feel like that's too much blood loss.
You die.
Like you need to be connected to an IV for the month, probably.
Well, some women have periods for that long because they have endometriosis.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Or again, perimenopause. This is the part where it's like even just the regular period cycle. Like you would think that would be enough suffering, but no. It just like it not only changes every month, but then it's like, you know how the universe, like the planet rotates on herself and then she rotates around the moon. Like there's so many layers of complication and additional suffering that come into play. So some women do have that. I have a friend who just told me she had that, and she got an IUD for that reason. No, she got a hysterectomy. She got her uterus out because she would just get her period for like months at a time. But that's a really good question. I think I would definitely do the month. I'm a power through.
Hassan loves dogs more than human women. Just calm down. That's a wild thing to say, and at me too. Like, come on.
Kind of girl. Like I just want it to be done.
Get it out of the way.
Get it out of the way.
And then you feel like a man.
You feel like a man for the rest of the year.
No problems.
But this is I had a big question when I was young learning. Do you remember the first time you learned about periods? Like the girl.
All right, chat, listen. This sounds like a really cool conversation. It's a little bit too parasocial for me. I personally like to watch this on content when it's very political. And here's the thing. I consider this to be something that all men should be aware of and empathetic to 100%. We don't go through this shit. And it sucks. However, Hassan's talking about it. So for me, not quite the same. It doesn't hit the same. So let us move on. Kaya bleeding is too much? Nah. To Mexico and China building massive green energy. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Mexican government's smartest move yet.
Mexico, a country where the sun shines bright, the wind blows strong, and rivers surge with power, plentiful terrain for renewable energy generation. The country boasts major infrastructure, the largest solar park in the Americas in Coahuila, the Pier 2 wind farm in Puebla, the Ventosa wind farm in Oaxaca. All projects have two things in common. They were all built by international companies and all completed before the previous president's 6-year term.
It's in everyone's interest that the National Electricity Commission not be weakened, undermined, or destroyed.
For Mexico's renewable energy sector, AMLO's 6-year term was a difficult period.
Customers were very hesitant. People didn't know whether they'd be given permission to connect to the national grid. That uncertainty really slowed the market.
However, his successor, President Claudia Sheinbaum, is moving toward a sustainable and reliable energy future for the country.
This administration is different. There's much more willingness to let installations go ahead. We're being contacted more and more for new projects.
And the newfound confidence isn't just among Mexicans. After years of uncertainty, Mexico's renewable energy sector is once again gathering speed. The country's federal government is actively seeking international investment in long-delayed solar and wind energy projects throughout the country. Manuel Gomez is the director of the Mexican Solar Energy Association, who says the future looks bright.
I'm optimistic. Mexico has big challenges ahead, but things are aligning. The government is more receptive and more interested in growth. Companies are hungry to take on larger projects, and end users are understanding the technology more and more.
As Mexico works to rebuild confidence in its renewable energy sector, industry leaders say clearer policies and rising demand are opening the doors once again to international investments. Alistair Baverstock, CGTN, Mexico City.
And ladies and gentlemen, that is the future right there. If Mexico becomes a renewable energy powerhouse, they could do an interconnection with Texas, and then Texas won't have so many blackouts. Oh my God. And then Mexico can sell energy to Texas because, Texas doesn't have very many energy resources of its own. So there could be a Mexican interconnection with the Texan energy grid, and they could stop having so many blackouts. Brad Lander's Twitter got hacked. Check his account. If they put all the, I'm not a Lander fan. I'm not a Lander fan. I don't like Lander. But it seems like Bernie Sanders and Zoran are clearing the field for Lander, which it is what it is. It is what it is. Maybe that'll make him go more to the left. I don't know. I don't know. Okay, chat. We have right now MAGA Civil War, and it is unbelievable. And the reason why there's a civil war, chat, if you want to know why there's a civil war going on in MAGA world, it's because fascism, the right wing, is falling off. And this is what happens with grifters. Whenever their politics situation starts to look a little bit more dire, it happened to me. The left looked like it was on its, like it was hurting because Kamala Harris lost, right? How many so-called leftists have taken swings at me because the left was kind of dipping? After Bernie Sanders lost, it happened to me. And after Kamala Harris lost, it happened to me. All these frauds start ripping at each other because they worry that there's only so many viewers to go around, right? And it happens. That's what it is. And you will see who the grifters are based on how they act toward other people that are nominally aligned toward them in a period of famine. And honest to God, it is so fucking funny that the main right-wing influencers are Nick Fuentes, a closeted gay, half-Mexican white supremacist, Candace Owens, a black woman who's a white supremacist, Asmongold, a severe sufferer of senile hoarder syndrome, or Diogenes syndrome. What is it called? I'm sorry, senile squalor syndrome. I said hoarder, but it's squalor. And Tim Pool, radical centrist who took hundreds of thousands of dollars from Russia to do propaganda. Holy fuck, you love to see it.
The right-wing meltdown is continuing. Kremlin-funded streamer Tim Pool says he's in debt and ending his show after Russia cut off his $100,000 a week. Let's take a look.
Leave us. We have 2 weeks left in the year before we go on our Christmas hiatus. You know, I'm not a big fan of any kind of hiatus. I would prefer just to work. But it is taxing. It is grueling, of course. And there's a lot.
I'm sorry, chat, but it is not taxing. It is not grueling. He streams like, how many times does he even stream a week?
Of infrastructure here that requires me to work all day, every day.
There is absolutely no chance that that is true.
Monday to Friday with some extra work on the weekends, usually meetings. And I'm probably going to have a stroke.
Oh, man, it's such a tough job, dude. Remember when all these guys were fucking yelling at me because of a misunderstanding, a clip that was, again, boosted on Reddit and shit, where I talked about how streaming actually is soul sucking in a different way, where it like eradicates your social battery in ways that, in my experience at least, like other social aspects of a regular 9-to-5 never did. Having said that, of course, I obviously understand the privileged position that I'm in. And all of these guys went crazy with that. They love talking about that. All these like anti-union, anti-labor motherfuckers, from Keemstar down to like Tim Pool, Ben Shapiro, everybody was like running victory laps around that. Here's Timothy Pool talking about how he's just working so hard. Little baby working so hard. First of all, I stream 7 to 9 hours every single day, 7 days a week. Now, maybe we'll say 6 days a week. Tim Pool, on the other hand, goes live for what? 2 hours, 3 hours? However many times a week? What's this guy talking about?
My health's actually pretty good. My blood pressure is great. My resting heart rate is actually around 45. I exercise quite a bit. Haven't been able to skate in the past month or two, the holidays, and but we have to have these conversations, and I have been with the people, our contractors, people we work with, our vendors, partners. And one thing is clear: the violence will get worse. It is going to escalate. We cannot keep going as status quo. Something has to change.
I want to say something that is so fucking obvious and so clear. Tim, you know nothing of violence. What are you talking about? You noodle-armed fucking loser. What are you talking about? You are an embarrassment.
It may be that, as we described after the assassination of Charlie Kirk and the threat to come and shoot up our studio and our workplace, we asked, at what point do we say we can't do this anymore? The cost of running.
I just got laid off from my job at Timcast. If anyone has any leads on a podcast producer gigs, let me know. Yeah, this is a strange time to admit this, but yes, we fired March, and he started working at Timcast, and I guess he got fired from Timcast as well. What a bad streak of luck for this guy, huh? Now, do I trust Tim Pool is actually going to quit podcasting? No, don't threaten me with a good time. It's not going to happen. He says this every goddamn year. I think he's just trying to farm sympathy points.
Timcast IRL Studio and the projects around it exceeds the amount of money it brings in. That's just that breaking point, isn't it, for any business? If you need $100 to, run your restaurant, but you're only bringing 90, you go out of business. The issue? The cost isn't cameras or lights.
What is crazy about this, by the way, is that I believe someone shot at his studio or something. That's what he was saying, right? The police have 0 reports of a shooting in his town. So wait, did they actually shoot at him or not? All crowdsourced entertainment gets a boost in sales when you claim having to quit. If things are going fine and you fake this, then you make big bucks from a grift. I don't think things are going fine at the Tim Pool compound. I don't think things are going fine at the Tim Pool compound, like whether he got shot at or not. He says he has footage but won't release it because he doesn't want people to know where the cameras are. Well, clearly, knowing where the cameras are haven't stopped people from shooting at him. So
Chat. Look what I did. Can you see that? Hold on. I tested my heart rate. Chat, I tested my heart rate. Wait, I did it on a watch. There, see? Oh, it's locking. How do you screenshot your watch? Do you know what my resting heart rate was, chat? Do you want to know what my resting heart rate was? It was 57. Not 67. 57.
Let's get to Tim Pool, because the right-wing meltdown is continuing. Kremlin-funded streamer Tim Pool says he's in debt and ending his show after Russia cut off.
I have absolutely no stage fright and do not care that I'm in front of thousands of people, which I think may be slightly insane. 57 beats a minute.
His $100,000 a week. Let's take a look.
We have 2 weeks left in the year before we go on our Christmas hiatus. I'm not a big fan of any kind of hiatus. I would prefer just to work, but it is taxing. It is grueling, of course. And there's a lot of infrastructure here that requires me to work.
I think your heart rate is probably higher than 57 unless you're an athlete. Why would you think that it's higher than 57? I literally just measured it. I measured it twice.
All day, every day, Monday to Friday, with some extra work on the weekends, usually meetings. And I'm probably going to have a stroke.
Oh, man, it's such a tough job, dude. Remember when all these guys were fucking yelling at me because of a misunderstanding?
Wait, did we restart this video? Do I have it open multiple times? What the fuck happened?
A lot of things start making...
That's just that breaking point.
The Tim Pool compound. I don't think things are going fine at the Tim Pool compound, like whether he got shot at or not. He says he has footage but won't release it because he doesn't want people to know where the cameras are. Well, clearly, knowing where the cameras are haven't stopped people from shooting at him. So I think things are not going fine because of the same that I was talking about with Ben Shapiro. Things are not going fine because these guys actually do have a lot of employees and stuff. And when they're not getting a ton of right-wing...
How the fuck does Tim Pool have a lot of employees? I don't see it on the screen. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? What do you mean he has a lot of employees? What do they do all day?
Big ticket donors to prop up their franchise, or getting money, in Tim Pool's case, directly from a foreign adversary, Russia, to the tune of $4 million. They have to downsize, especially if Tim Pool, who literally dropped out of 4th grade, for the record, for those of you who don't know, if you want to understand like what his mentality, what his brain looks like, what his brain capacity looks like. Yeah. A lot of things start making sense about Tim Pool when you realize that he actually doesn't have education beyond the 4th grade level. Or 7th grade? Is it 7th grade? 4th grade is when shapes get pretty tough. His dad said it was 4th grade. He says he dropped out at 14. Anyway, bro got left behind, okay? No Child Left Behind. Tim Pool said, bet. I'll show you what. Yeah. He looked at middle school and said, that's a woke institution. Okay. Calculus, that's the invention of the transgender agenda. I am not going to learn about those sorts of things. You cannot teach me. My point is, he probably doesn't have the mental faculties, the bare minimum mental faculties necessary to run a operation when the money inevitably dries out. Like, fiscal responsibility, I suspect, is not a strong suit, as evidenced by the many different insane advertisement campaigns that Tim Pool has actually dumped a load of money into, whether it be putting a billboard on Times Square or whether it be putting a billboard everywhere, really. I mean, if you go around the country, you will see Tim Pool's face on the side of highways. Not exactly certain as to how much real eyeballs and real donations that translates to. It could also be the ton of money he dumped into purchasing a skate park just as a flex when the locals did not want him to participate in a competition there. It could be the money that he spent on decals that he got purchased as a form of marketing on NASCAR and a NASCAR car. It could also be the money that he dumped into launching a music career.
Did you think I'd leave you there?
I don't know. Or the fact that he has to pay people to be his friend. The point is, he's done all of those things, but at the same time, while he's done all of those things and his burn rate has gone up year over year, his numbers have actually not gone up. So he's not actually bringing in a new audience or even...
My favorite part of this music video is how long the like non-musical intro is. Like, look at how long this is. It's like, we're at 20 seconds now. We're at 30 seconds.
Did you think I'd leave you there?
30 fucking seconds? 30 fucking seconds?
Did you think I'd never keep my promise?
I have never seen a brow line like this. This is the most incredible brow ridge I've ever seen. This bro, he was frozen in a glacier, wasn't he? He was frozen in a glacier. Come on, admit it. And then he ran into Tim Pool. That brow ridge is incredible. Dude, his brow sticks out further than his lips. And his lips are not small. That's crazy. And like, his head slopes. This is a 2-head. But wow, Mike, should have people who create non-AI art. Yeah, this is not AI.
It's easy when I'm lying there with you, and every night I dream of you, and every night I promise to hold on.
Wait, chat, Golden Kappa hype trading coming. Holy shit, chat, we've got a hype up. We're stopping the Timcast video as long as we hit level 15 on the hype trade, in which case we'll stop. But if we don't, we'll keep playing the whole goddamn thing. Oh, am I extorting you? You're goddamn right I am. Chat, we have a limited time. This is unbelievable. A golden Kappa hype trade. If you subscribe right now, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, Amazon Prime, 200 biddies, gifting a sub or resubbing during the golden Kappa hype trade, you will get the unbelievably coveted and rare golden Kappa that you get to use site-wide for an unbelievably generous, hold on to your butts, chat, you get to use the golden Kappa hype train on twitch.tv for 24 golden pixels for 24 hours. Where do I sign on the line that is dotted? Where do I put in my credit card? Because 24 hours to use Kappa, an emote that no one uses but golden. Why? I mean, that should be even more expensive. Only like 24 hours? They should cut it down to 12. Holy shit, I can't believe it. And right now, you have the opportunity to access the golden Kappa hype train at an unbelievably low price. And this is even more important, save the stream from watching the entire Tim Pool music video. And I'm dead serious. I will watch the entire Tim Pool music video. I will do that to you unless we get through level 15. I am not, that's not a meme. I'm dead. Fuck politics. It's the Tim Pool appreciation hour unless we hit level 15 on this thing. I leave. I won't hear that. I don't give a fuck. We're going down with the ship. Anyway, I'm kidding. Thank you guys, gals, non-binary pals for all the support. Daffy Taffy, Exia, Desperate Luck, Posh Kenneth, Obsidian 84 with the gifty, Artiflat, Grandmaster Casanova with the 70 months. Welcome back, brother. Busy Trivial Solution, Ham and Fist with the 20 bomb. Chat, we have finished level 14. You are almost safe. You're almost safe, chat. We've completed level 14. We need to complete one more level. We are currently not in 8988 subs, 15% through level 15 and the escape from Tim's music. Mike's kidding. We are watching it if we finish 15 or not. Absolutely not. I actually think it's maybe one of the worst music videos ever created. This will save you. Senior Miyagi, thank you for the 5 tier 1s. Guileless Monk, Veridactyl, Tundra Beaver, Open Presents with the 25. Everybody bend the knee to Open Presents. Top Scruffy, Black Usuku, Beck the Great with the 10, GT Buzzsaw with the 5, Roscoe P. Coltrane, thank you so much for the 10. We are dangerously close to escaping Tim Pool, but we're not quite there.
The dream I one day wake up next to you.
99% through level 15.
Did you know you left me there, staring at the heartache in my soul as I fell to pieces into the one you're leaving for? There's only one thing I want you to know.
Open Presents has saved us with a 25 gifted sub, and we have made it through. We were at 99% through level 15 there for a good solid 15 seconds, and that was incredible. Thank you, chat. Let's go. Let's close this. That's dog shit. Anyway, let's keep going.
Reaching the same level of prominence that he once did with his commentary. If you go look at his, Social Blade.
I want to hear the drop. I don't think the drop happens till like 2 minutes and a half into the song. It may be one of the worst songs I've ever heard.
Oh, he's got a C+ grade. That's not good. Even my YouTube channel has a higher grade than that. 1.4 million subs, 3.2 million views in the last 30 days. That's like not even a third of the views that I get on the Hasanabi channel. Things start to make sense when you look at his view counts. 62,000, 27,000, 37,000, 8.6 thousand. These view counts are fucking abysmal, dude. His other YouTube channel, the big one with 2.58 million subscribers. Let's take a look at that. Maybe that one's a little bit better. Okay, this is the main channel that he has. 13K, 46K, 13K, 26K, 52K. You just can't sustain any business. All the while, Candace Owens is actually calling out Timothy Poole right now to an audience of 152,000 people. Tim Poole tried to...
Holy fucking hell, is that true? I honest to God, first of all, let me just say this. Right-wing content is botted. I want you to understand this. Right-wing content is botted heavily. I know people think this sounds like cope or whatever. It's not. It's not. Candace Owens, however, is very prominent on the right. There is no doubt about that. Everybody knows who Candace Owens is. Like, there's no doubt. But it's also botted to hell. That's the other thing. Like, right-wingers are very sociopathic. They don't mind botting because they think they're cynical. And the thing is, I am not cynical. Hassan is not cynical. Many people consider that to be, they actually scoff. Like, when I say that, there are many people that would scoff to hear that. It's actually true. Not everybody is cynical. And if you're like, that's not true, everybody is. That's because you're cynical. And so we do not cheat. We do not bot. We do not alter our metrics artificially. We do not pay for that shit. But I can tell you right now that every right winger does. Every single one. Because they all have a sociopathic perspective. They're people that cheat and they justify it by saying everybody else does it. That's who they are. They are shameless. Is pedo troll botting, you think? I think one of the things about botting is that it cannot make up for actual organic viewership. It can't. So even if you bot like hell, if there's absolutely no organic anything, it doesn't matter. There has to be organic viewership. Holy fucking hell, dude. 9 million views? This is the lowest viewership he's ever had. The H3 podcast is at the lowest viewership it ever had. The only month it's ever been lower is when they took 2 weeks off. Yo! 9 million views? Negative 10,000 subscribe. That's crazy. Thank you guys for the gifts, by the way, and the resubs. We just cracked level 6 on the Golden Kappa Hype Train, which has now placed us at 7,066 subs. 7,066 subs. And then we go to Hassan. Hassan just had 35 million views. Ethan Klein had 9 million. Oh my God. The entire internet was memeing on Hassan for shocking Kaya, and he didn't lose a subscriber. He had the internet's biggest scandal, and he didn't go negative subscribers for the month. People said he was abusing his dog, and he didn't go negative subscribers. That is insane. Hassan, 33 million views. That's insane. 33 million views. I saw an H3 fan say they don't watch anymore because the show has become a soap opera of grievances. That's what it always was, but Ethan Klein was able to talk about other people from a perspective of like an objective third party, and he was goofing and gaffing at people where he was just making fun of people cruelly, but he didn't have any direct connection to them. So it just seemed like he was doing light gossiping. But now that he knows these people and it's so personal and he's so petty and ugly, people can see him for what he really is.
To do the thing.
All right. I actually want to talk. I think the Majority Report's coverage of this as well is really good.
There's a couple of things going on that we haven't really paid that much attention to, but actually.
Did you see the old title of Pedo Troll's latest stream? No. My reputation is dirt. How do I fix it? Wait, he posted this again? Right court-ordered statement to force Casey to say Hassan did help her. Hassan says, good. I hope she said that if it'll get Ethan off her back. She shows up in Hassan's chat a week later. Nobody believes it. Still losing 10 to 50,000 subs a month. Masterable gambit, sir. Chat, if you want to help Casey Tron, go and gift subs to Casey Tron's channel. Now that Casey Tron has fended off Pedo Troll, and he's no like there is a settlement, and he can't really do anything anymore except whine and bitch and complain. If you want to support Casey Tron, just go give her money on her channel. Go, let her move on with her life from the Ethan Klein drama. Clyde is posting dozens of Instagram stories about Taylor Lorenz, his next target, except he won't sue her because I'm sure Taylor has like errors and emissions insurance and umbrella insurance. And so all that'll be happening is Ethan Klein will be burning up his own money against insurance companies. You know what I mean? Like, if you sue like a small creator and they're not aware of how they can protect themselves from lawsuits, you can personally harm them. But if you're suing somebody who's more sophisticated and they have the proper types of insurance, they pay their $150, $250 a month in premiums for this for insurance coverage, and then you end up burning $100,000 against their insurance company. Good fucking luck. So if he sued Taylor Lorenz, that would be fucking funny because it would be absolutely pointless. He accidentally admitted he wrote her apology. It wasn't an apology, it was a coerced statement. All right, chat. Well, thank you so much for the Golden Kappa hype train. We ended up with 7,077 subs. 7,077. Really nice.
Probably will have material import down the road. And that is the sort of both simultaneous implosion of some right-wing talkers audience and an incredible amount of infighting that is going on that I think will ultimately be pretty consequential, at least for the near term. I almost don't know where to start with this. You first had a lot of like right-wing dissent around Israel. On one side, you had the principal anti-Semites who and American firsters. I don't know that there's really a huge gulf between those two people.
No.
But they did not like our involvement with Israel. So sometimes good things can come from bad places.
They're basically Christian nationalists.
Yes.
It's Nick Fuentes, it's Candace Owens.
But the non-koofy Christian nationalists.
Yes.
And I guess and they started to attack people like Ben Shapiro, who Ben Shapiro trying to be an American firster, but also tied for first with Israel.
Yes, well, I don't even know if he'd say tied, but we can quibble with that. But it is interesting. Like, I mean, Ben Shapiro was so cool with Candace Owens' open anti-Semitism when she was employed at the Daily Wire.
Hitler apology.
She literally said while at the Daily Wire that Hitler's problem was not that he kept it confined to Germany, but that he had expansionist aims and he wasn't Germany first. Newsflash, there were Jewish Germans who would probably disagree with that. And Ben Shapiro held on to her throughout that entire saga. Also, the Kanye West saga, when Kanye was going out there, she was defending him. Even Shapiro was defending him. Kanye said, "What was it? Everyone's just like, or Hitler." I forget exactly what he said about Hitler that was positive, but it was open Hitler apology. Yeah. So, like, my point is just that Candace Owens was very defensive of those two obviously like anti-Semitic statements by Kanye and then by herself, and Shapiro had her on until she was speaking about anti-Zionism, and that's when they parted ways. And that has morphed in the wake of Charlie Kirk's assassination into some like swirling conspiracy theories that started with Israel took Charlie Kirk out because ostensibly Charlie Kirk was turning on Israel, which is quite unclear that was the case.
No, he just wanted to still have Tucker Carlson come to TPUSA events. That's all it was.
Yes. Yeah. And we should say, like, he wrote some text, I think, to Candace Owens or to somebody 2 days before he was assassinated that indicated that maybe he was going to turn against Israel or he wasn't going to take. But presumably, Israel.
The thing is, like, the Israeli support has fallen off the cliff because of organic social media posts. Everybody knows that to be true, and the right wing is trying to prevent that from ever happening again. Unfortunately, social media just doesn't work if you try to exercise the type of control that they're trying to exercise. It will not work. And in fact, there will be people that start new websites. And if they have to be overseas, that's where they're going to end up being.
Had been planning months before this assassination. And, you know, there's a lot of people that had to be paid out. But then the the conspiracy theories. And look, I'm not in a position to judge really, like, and I haven't really followed it, but it's involved other TPUSA individuals that Candace Owens has been pushing, saying that, that they were all sort of conspired against it. And now they're addressing Candace Owens. And you should just know that Shapiro's show's numbers have cratered.
Yep.
Charlie Kirk's show's numbers have cratered. And everybody seems to be lining up on one side or the other of this. And then there's a couple of peacemakers in between. And here's PBD trying to be a peacemaker. Now remember, the last time we checked on Patrick Bet-David, he had the brilliant idea to deal with Israel's
do the roast
PR problems for committing a genocide, to allow some of Israel's comedic criticizers to do a roast with Benjamin Netanyahu for like 2 or 3 years.
A Tom Brady style roast.
Yeah, Tom Brady style roast. Just give it to him.
We only roast the ones we love.
Yes, let a little air out of the tires, I guess, as they would say.
We used to have Nuremberg. Now we have Netflix.
Now, exactly. And now, of course, Israel is still in hot water because they did not subscribe to, they didn't take his advice. But now Patrick Bet-David is going to talk about what's going on with TPUSA. Invited Candace Owens on for a debate. She will not go there because she's afraid of being assassinated, and she thinks that Erica Kirk was behind it. And it's a little suspicious. The whole thing's suspicious.
It's a little weird. I mean, isn't Charlie one of her best friends? Seems to have a pretty poor relationship with his wife.
It happens.
Sometimes.
It happens. Your best friends, so here's PBD. But then things get a little bit weirder, too, after this.
For you, go there to feel safe. Because she's right. She needs to feel safe.
She should.
But at the same time, to me, if this is like, there's a part of me that's like, go with the Macron story, right? Go with the Macron story. Tom, what is that? Does that have to do with the story or?
No, I was just.
Okay, so go with the Macron story. So with the Macron story,
I was just putting out that we're wearing the same blazer.
Yeah, I could have started this after that.
Well, what happened was that Tom's putting something else up there on the screen, and that happens here. Sometimes you get a little distracted, but he is now saying that just to be clear, Candace Owens afraid to go to TPUSA or onto the Charlie Kirk show because she's nervous about. And I don't know that I would go into their lair. I don't know.
Do a remote.
But here is Patrick Bet-David is like saying maybe it's time for her to just focus on the Macron story. The Macron story, incidentally, is that Candace Owens is convinced that Macron's wife is actually a trans woman, and they're suing her, I believe.
And she seems to be the only person on the right that is insistent about this conspiracy theory in a way that where it's like, sometimes it's like you see, I feel like Charlie Kirk was doing a bit of a character. Even Ben Shapiro plays it up because they're so cynical. She's genuinely insane.
Yeah. Rogan believes it, by the way.
Oh, Rogan does?
Did you see this Brad Lander campaign? Brad Lander has launched his campaign for Congress following reports that Zohran Mamdani is expected to endorse him, but that a major progressive challenger is sitting out his primary to help unify the progressive vote. In his campaign ad, Brad Lander directly calls out AIPAC. Oh, did Brad Lander get hacked? We can't see their posts anymore? Brad Lander isn't running. He's Mamdani's puppet on a string. This thing is still posting.
That many other...
There's I'll tell you something. There is a lot of people who believe what Candace Owens is. There's a lot of people because she's onto something.
But okay, fair enough.
Yeah, right. I saw this, chat. I'm super bummed. The DSA candidate withdrew. I mean, people it looks like a lot of politicians on the left in New York City are giving way to what Zohran Mamdani wants. And so that seems to be pretty clearly what's happening. My general feeling like that is we are undershooting our opportunity. Like that's my general feeling. I feel like we're not aiming big enough. We don't have enough candidates and enough seats, if I'm being honest. That's how I feel right now. It's not that I think that this is the end of the world or anything. It's just like I hope we find other places to aim big.
Wing media, it feels like this is her flag that she's planted. It's a little insane.
But it's been helping her numbers significantly.
And it's clear why PBD would want her to focus on that instead of the infighting on the right.
Here we go.
The Macron story. Tom, what is that? Does that have to do with the story or?
No, I was just...
Okay, so go with the Macron story. So with the Macron story, there's a part of it that you're interested in the Macron story, right? Where it's like, I want to know. Yeah. Okay, let's keep going. I want to know what's going on, how this thing's going to end. But with the Turning Point USA guys, I don't know if you really, you realize like without TPUSA, Trump doesn't win. I don't know if people are like thinking about it that way. Forget about all this feud and oh my God and what's going on and I think I'm on her side, I'm on their side. It's not she's this, she's a Scotch. Set all that stuff aside. If there's no Turning Point USA, Trump does not win in 2024.
Yep.
Perfect. If I'm the Democrats, if I'm Qatar, if I'm anybody that wants Democrats.
Qatar is literally aligned with Israel. What are you even talking about? They're literally aligned with Israel. The Gulf states are aligned with Israel. Who are we kidding? Who are we fucking kidding? ISIS is aligned with Israel. Who are we kidding?
That's back in, dude, I have to dismantle Turning Point USA. And she's helping in that process. So
can you pause it for a sec? So I just am trying to like put little just breadcrumbs here because we mentioned this in the Tim Pool segment last week about his meeting with Benjamin Netanyahu and then in that meeting, I think it was Jewish Insider reported that he asked him about Qatar's influence on the internet space and how it's making essentially kids into radicals against Israel is the thrust of it.
Buying creators, I mean, is the implication.
There's just something to note about the focus on Qatar when it comes up completely in a way that makes very little sense when the subject of Israel comes up. And I just think people should flag that when they see some of these creators bring it up out of nowhere, because that's a Zionist talking point.
But what's happening also right now is Tucker Carlson went to Qatar and interviewed, I don't know what Qatari
Prime Minister, I think.
The Prime Minister.
Yeah.
And so this is all part of this like internecine war. I'm not pronouncing that correctly. And what I love, Patrick Bet-David, it's like,
uh-oh, chat. Uh-oh, Spaghetti-O. The New York Times is doing a piece on online cryptocurrency casinos. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. It's starting to happen. I think Las Vegas is getting a little bit angry at I'm surprised they haven't made these strikes yet because Vegas is hurting right now. People don't go to the casino anymore. They just gamble on their phone. David was 14 when he placed his first bet with the Crypto Casino, a website where people use cryptocurrencies to gamble on online games. Stuck at home during the pandemic, he started spending more time on sites. He watched celebrities like Drake and live streamer Aiden Ross play on the casinos too. Oh, Spaghetti-O.
This guy's giving a lot of advice to people. He is in Manect mode.
Right.
But he's doing it for free. And apparently that's because Candace Owens is not calling Manect to find out what she should be doing in this situation. And so he's saying, don't do the TPUSA thing. Now, I want to say this. If he thinks that people who want Republicans to lose in 2026 and 2028 are cheering on what's going on with this, he is correct.
Yes.
I want to make that clear. That's what we're doing right now.
Mm-hmm.
Because, yes, the more disoriented the right is, the more incohesive it is, if that's a word.
Incoherent, sure.
Well, incoherent, but non-cohesive.
Okay.
The better for society. But let's let him continue with this sage advice.
Democrats back in, dude, I have to dismantle Turning Point USA. And she's helping in that process. So now, whether she's coming from a place of, she's doing it because she's getting eyeballs. She's doing it because a dream she had with Charlie, and Charlie told her this. Whether it's because she's funded, whether it's because that's exactly what she believes. I don't care what those reasons are. Everybody has their own reasons for doing some things, and sometimes it doesn't make sense to you, and then it takes 10, 20 years to really learn the motive. It took us 4 years to realize what happened with the pipe bomber, right? The 4 or 5 years to realize.
5 years, yeah.
Yeah, to realize what's going on with the pipe bomber. We may not know what's going on here for a long time, but what we do know is the following. Turning Point USA falls, someone is replacing those kids being fed, and then who is that? Name me the second biggest Turning Point USA organization that you trust. Name me who you trust above Turning Point USA, where the guy Charlie Kirk put it together. Then we have to make one of two things. Either Charlie Kirk was such a horrible leader that he picked people the wrong way, then we're questioning his character. Because you get judged for who you choose, okay? And so Candace's argument is if Turning Point USA is that bad, then that's questioning his character and his wherewithal to pick the right leadership team on what to do with the company. Okay.
Look at Tom and Anna said, yes.
We're actually the Charlie defenders here.
Yeah, that seems like a little bit. Why are they pretending like all of the decisions about TPUSA were made in Charlie's interests? Well, that seems to be very motivated reasoning to say that beyond the grave he would have approved of all of these things.
Well, apparently, I mean,
also the people he hired around him, I think is the implication. That why would Charlie, because Candace is literally saying his chief of staff is doing suspicious stuff immediately after Charlie. So Charlie, if you say that those people are suspicious, you're actually questioning Charlie Kirk, because Charlie Kirk is the one
you're not just questioning Charlie Kirk, you're questioning his character as a person.
Judgment.
As a person.
Wow.
So he is actually better friends.
Chad, I think this might be an example of a fallacious argument. Just saying.
With Charlie Kirk than Candace Owens is what he's saying. It's fascinating. Is there any more to this?
No, that's probably good.
That's about as good as it gets here. But there's another strand. So you'll notice that PBD is taking the same tact that Tim Pool took, which is this is destroying the, hurting the Republicans' chances in the midterms, which I think, well, okay, maybe. It's not helping it, probably. And Candace Owens shot back like, I don't care about the midterms. This is my friend I'm defending here.
Here, Candace. Righteous.
Hey, folks, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check out our daily show. We do it every day at 12 p.m. Eastern for about 2.5 hours. We even take phone calls. You should check that out.
I absolutely love it. It's a fucking dream. Did I see the recent tweet from Brad Lander? I think his account got hacked. All right, let's get back to, okay, this is fucking amazing, chat. Holy shit, this is amazing. New York Times article on Kick crypto gambling. Now, this was always our argument. We always said, hey, these crypto gambling websites are really shady. We shouldn't have them on Twitch because it's going to cause a fucking hammer to fall on our heads. And anybody who gets involved in these criminal casinos is going to eventually get their comeuppance. That was always our point. Always our argument. And here it's starting. Social media personalities collected huge paydays for streaming more and more videos, hyping the sites. David, meanwhile, developed a gambling addiction before he turned 18 and lost thousands of dollars. Selling gambling to underage kids? Uh-oh! Is it Kick spelled kick? No. Inside the dark and predatory world of crypto casinos. David and many people like him, young and chronically online, have been enticed by crypto casinos, an expanding realm of online gambling where long-standing guardrails are often ignored. These sites have spread across social media, taking advantage of the borderless nature of the internet. They offer hundreds of games, including blackjack, sports betting, and flashy online slot machines. They operate with fewer restrictions for gamblers by obtaining licenses in small island nations. And although they are not legal in many countries, including the United States, the casinos have become gambling havens where teenagers and problem gamblers play and even earn income by promoting the sites. A New York Times investigation has found this flourishing industry has been built by operators willing to deploy an exploitative marketing system. The Times found their strategies encourage reckless wagers, turn social media influencers into casino recruiters to lure in young people, one of the demographics most vulnerable to addiction. Ladies and gentlemen, what XQC, TradeRex, ending up in prison is not out of the question. One 20-year-old said he was first hooked on the sites at high school, placing wagers with his friends after baseball practice. Another gambler said he took thousands from his parents and spent it on crypto casinos. David, who asked to be identified by his middle name to protect his privacy, said he emptied out more than $12,000 in childhood savings when he turned 18 this year and converted it into cryptocurrency on a website. He bet it all, doubled it, and then lost it all. He later took out and gambled away $4,000 in personal loans without his parents knowing, trying to earn it back. This is what XQC's $100 million came from. This is what funds kick. I lost sight of what money actually is, said David, who graduated from high school in May. Online gambling, particularly sports betting, has spread across the country over the last several years as more states have legalized it, which was a major mistake. It's actually ruining sports. Crypto casinos operate outside of these structures by functioning as offshore entities and by allowing gamblers to use cryptocurrencies instead of traditional financial systems. The speed at which crypto casinos are moving and the loopholes they are identifying and seizing on have left lawmakers and regulators struggling to keep up. Many sites do not have strong identity verification and are able to advertise on social media with little oversight. Tech-savvy young people in the United States can gamble on them using false identities and readily available software to mask their locations, often unbeknownst to their parents. 8 years ago, crypto casinos were obscure websites. Now they are a multi-billion-dollar industry with dozens of operators. The success of Stake and Roobet, two of the largest casinos, has enabled them to sign partnership deals with the Ultimate Fighting Championship, Premier League soccer teams, and celebrity rappers like Drake and Snoop Dogg. To help drive this growth, Stake, Roobet, and other sites like Shuffle and BC Gabe have built an army of live streamers who broadcast themselves gambling for hours every day. The streamers create online communities centered on the casinos. They offer giveaways to dedicated followers. All the while, crypto casinos incentivize content creators to bring in more customers through affiliate programs, which pay a commission on wagers placed by gamblers they recruit. Popular gambling streamers flaunt their extravagant lifestyles while their fans wager more. Trying to be the next gambling influencer, the content thrives in the manosphere, the male-centric online community, where prominent voices talk about getting rich quick and skipping the traditional route of 9-to-5 employment. These guys need to be fucking deleted. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. We need to come in here with a fucking hammer and destroy these guys. They're absolute pieces of shit. 100% parasites, 100% vile, 100% scum. As the sites grew larger, they paid online celebrities multi-million-dollar deals to promote the casinos. In August, Drake and the famous live streamers Aiden Ross, XQC, and TradeRex gambled together on Stake for a live audience. And here they are. I've dreamed of this night. All my guys in one spot, Drake said before the group streamed themselves gambling together for 3 hours. Drake, whose full name is Aubrey Drake Graham, declined to comment for this article through a representative, Mr. Ross, as well as XQC and TradeRex, whose real names are Felix Langlois. How do you say his name? Felix Langlois and Tyler Nicknam did not respond to requests for comment. Nickname? Langyel? Yeah, Langyel? Okay, thank you, chat. A spokesman for Snoop Dogg, who partnered with Roobet, said in September statement to the Times, Snoop takes these issues seriously. He is no longer working with Roobet and has no plans to do so in the future. Roobet announced the end of the partnership on X the same day. Snoop Dogg has more. He was like, oh shit, I got found out. Fuck, I gotta protect my name. We quit. Langyel, thank you. Langyel, thank you. Langyel, appreciate you. To understand how these sites build an online marketing machine, the Time analyzed hundreds of video produced by gambling streamers, sifted through thousands of messages in online chat rooms, obtained private messages sent by casino representatives, and reviewed cryptocurrency data from gamblers and the casinos. The Times also spoke to more than 24 people who worked in the crypto casino world, including affiliate streamers, marketing managers, and casino employees. Some said it was an open secret that the marketing practices could encourage gambling addictions and entice underage gamblers. Thousands of people have produced videos of themselves gambling on crypto casinos. In August, viewers of the top 100 gambling streamers watched 12 million hours of their videos, according to data from analytics website Streams Charts. The finances of crypto casinos, private companies licensed outside the United States, are not public. Stake told Forbes it earned $4.7 billion in gambling revenue in 2024, more than MGM reported earning from casino games at all of its Las Vegas properties. Stake would not comment to the Times about his finances. We got to get these guys in prison. Like, I'm serious, man. It's fucking crazy to have sports betting support your team with the image of a professional player in their uniform. That's fucking criminal. These people are fucking criminals. Solio, why are you banning people? What are you doing, Ben? What slur did he use? Come on, James. What are you doing? Fucking idiot. James, why are you being an idiot? You're not black. How are you gonna be here for years and then use a slur here? What are you doing? What are you doing? You're not black. I know you're not black. What are you using? You're not allowed to use those terms. Like, what the fuck's wrong with you? You really need to write a in-depth apology before you can ban appeal, because that is ridiculous. Are you okay? Are you okay? And the only reason I'm even telling you is that you've been here long enough to know better. Because not only are you clowning yourself, you are casting aspersions on the entire community, because you've been here long enough to know better. And because we have seen you post a lot of good stuff over the years, you're trying to trade on your credibility so that you could break the rules. No, we don't do that here. You should have just said that Snoop Dogg is a sellout. I would have gotten your point across. So I want to see you write down a big apology. You're going to take at least a week off. I better see an apology. You send it to Solio in Discord. And that is... then I'll think about unbanning you. But it's going to be at least a week. And everybody who's a long-term chatter who I know, if I see you do shit like this, you're not going to be given special treatment. You're not going to be given special treatment. You're going to be banned just like James was banned. That's dumb as fuck. We all make mistakes, but you know better than that. I know you know better than that. You were trying to be edgy, and all you're doing is you're going to discredit me and yourself. Because from now on, people are going to be like, remember when he said this? Great job, idiot. Like the other chatter I banned the other day because I was talking about Casey Trons getting harassed by Ethan Klein, and I banned them. I unbanned them because I like the chatter. But don't be a piece of shit. Just because I like you doesn't mean I will not ban you if you act like an antisocial asshole. Some of the largest... Mike will unban James in about an hour. No. He's going to eat shit for at least a week, and he has to apologize. And we're going to read the apology on the fucking stream when he writes it. Like, we're going to have a fucking struggle session for James. Some of the largest crypto casinos are finding new ways to navigate the global legal landscape to bring in more customers. While Stake's original crypto casino, Stake.com, is licensed in Curacao, and later it created additional platforms where highly regulated countries like Italy and Brazil. In the United States, Stake started Stake.us, which it said legally operates in most states. It circumvents the need to obtain a gambling license by calling itself a social casino where players use virtual currency instead of real money. But ongoing lawsuits, including one from Los Angeles City Attorney, argue that Stake.us still functions as a casino by allowing players to purchase the virtual currency and withdraw it as cryptocurrency. Audrey Fitzgerald, the head of global communications at EasyGo, the Australian company behind Stake, said Stake.us rejects the allegations in the Los Angeles lawsuit. This is baby brain lawyering. They're going to lose. Unless there's a massive corrupt... I mean, again, Republicans are corrupt. So maybe they bought enough Republicans to be able to do their crimes. I don't know. Still waiting on the Tectone files? I told you. I already told you the Tectone files. We already went over it. Tectone is facing a formal protection order from the woman he abused. And so he can't stream anymore because every time he goes on stream, he violates the protective order. And he left Austin because he keeps violating the protective order and he was trying to avoid prison. I already told you the files. We already talked about it. So I don't expect him to be back anytime soon because he can't stop harassing his victim. And she went the fuck after him. So I was supporting her work. She said Stake no longer saw itself as a crypto casino business because of its expansion into markets that accept only traditional currencies. Many U.S. gamblers who spoke to the Times said they still preferred Stake.com and were willing to mask their location to access it from the United States. In response to the Times' findings regarding the industry's tactics, Ms. Fitzgerald said Stake had tools in place to promote responsible gaming and stop underage gambling. We implement stringent checks and use real-time monitoring systems to identify suspicious activity and prevent unauthorized platform use. Ms. Fitzgerald pointed to Stake sponsorship deals with the major sports leagues as evidence that it is a well-trusted company. Oh my God! Do we even have to like? Come on! What are you talking about? Guys, we gave a lot of money. To various shills. Doesn't that prove how we're a real company now? We gave a lot of money. Are you fucking kidding me right now? Jeff Ifrah, a lawyer for Roobet, which has founders based in the United States, said its statement that a site complies with all laws in accordance with its Curacao license and removes users who are violating its terms. Roobet is proud of their streaming partners and works to promote safe and responsible gaming to adult audiences. Because their brains are still developing, teenagers and young adults under 25 are a demographic at high risk of developing addictions. According to experts who study gambling problems, it's impossible to know how many minors were using crypto casinos. The sites themselves do not have accurate information because their customers use false identities, and there isn't substantial research or data on the topic. Still, mental health clinicians who work with young people see signs that the problem is growing. Matt Missar, a gambling counselor at the Better Institute in Pittsburgh, said he has seen a few dozen patients between 16 and 26 years old in recent years, and most of them were gambling on crypto casinos. They're watching these streamers, and the streamers are winning their bets, Mr. Messier said. They have this false notion in their head that this is just a matter of time until I hit it big like Drake did, or like Aiden Ross did. Labeling the YouTube streamers in partnership with Stake, but not the Kick streamers. Yeah, okay. They should sue. I'm dead serious. They should sue. Like, putting my name next to in partnership with Stake is not okay. Top streaming analytics site Streams Charts has become attaching a partnership with Stake to unaffiliated streamers in a 2025 recap. Ludwig, Valkyrie, iShowSpeed, and several others appear on the site labeled in partnership alongside the illegal online casino. Kick is Stake, and you should avoid adding an illegal crypto casino's logo to streamers who are explicitly anti-gambling or any streamers at all. So true. Ostenox with another W. Nancy Kay, a therapist based in New York who sees patients with online addictions, said she has been treating more young adults with gambling problems over the last few years. They develop anxiety. They're not sleeping, dropping out of school, thinking their career is going to be like this. Backbone of this industry. After Bitcoin, the first major cryptocurrency, gained wider traction in 2017, sites like Stake and Roobet helped transform online cryptocurrency gambling into a major business. They're focused on social media marketing, especially through the live streaming platform Twitch, broadened popularity across the globe. But in 2022, Twitch banned videos promoting crypto casinos amid growing concerns about user safety. Stake's founders quickly built a solution. They started their own live streaming website called Kick with fewer rules and restrictions, which provided to be a boon for streamers who are signed on to be affiliates for crypto casinos. Affiliates are the backbone of this industry, said Akil Sarin, the chief marketing officer of EasyGo, who has worked on Stake's marketing for years. During an April podcast interview, anyone registered to play on the casino's website can become an affiliate and start trying to earn money with their own content. Affiliates are given their own referral code to share with their followers, and they get a commission on wagers placed by people who sign up with that code. Calculated based on the odds of the games they play. Slots, which are popular in gambling streams, tend to earn higher commissions than skills-based games like blackjack, although blackjack in the online crypto casino is not skill-based. And the reason why is because they do continuous shuffling. So continuous shuffling means there's no skill. It's just a set edge for the casino. So blackjack is only skill-based if you have a fixed number of decks in a shoe without continuous shuffling. Once you add in continuous shuffling, it's just a house edge, and there's no longer skill. Anyway, streamers can see the program as a pathway to earning a living making videos, but the Times found it essentially turns them into casino promoters who need to keep their fans gambling. The overall marketing system generates more wagers through deals between crypto casinos and different tiers of streamers. Celebrity partners like Drake and Mr. Ross sit at the top. Many of them don't directly earn money from the affiliate programs and are instead paid millions to promote gambling on the sites to their enormous fan bases. Top affiliates, who bring in thousands of live viewers, are just below them. They are paid major deals to stream on a regular basis, often 6 figures annually or more, according to streamers and former crypto casino employees who spoke to the Times. They also earn affiliate commission from their followers who wager with their referral codes. The Times reached out to the top 20 gambling streamers on Kick, but none were willing to be interviewed. I have a question for people that like these kind of guys. What the fuck is wrong with you? Like, serious question. If you watch these guys, or if you are these people, what the fuck is wrong with you, you talentless fucking loser hacks? God, you guys are the absolute fucking worst. This is why I'm a tanky. I am a tanky because of people like this. Call me fucking cop from PA or whatever the fuck. These guys should be in prison. I'm sorry. They should be in fucking prison. I think you're insane if you think this is okay. And they're all malicious assholes. They're all fucking bastards who don't care that they're hurting people. They don't care. They're like, well, I'm profiting and I'm getting away with it, so it's good. Other streamers who have small, consistent audience could sign deals with casinos, but the terms are less profitable. A common deal structure pays a streamer a daily fill, generally between a few hundred or a few $1,000s to gamble with during their videos. Streamers with fills can keep what they have after gambling for a minimum amount of time, but if they end the day with an empty account, they earn nothing. Self-funded streamers lose the most, trying to gain viewers by gambling for hours with their own money. The crypto casinos benefit from each layer of the system, which encourages streamers and their viewers to consistently gamble. The financial incentives for streamers can encourage people to make reckless decisions on camera for views. Degen, short for degenerate gambling, where people make outrageous wagers, is celebrated by fans on social media. One streamer who spoke to the Times became popular after he poured urine on his head on camera for $500 as part of a dare from another streamer. Shortly after, BetBolt, a small crypto casino, gave him a paid deal to make more gambling content. BetBolt did not respond to requests for comment. Some gambling streams mislead fans who may believe they are watching people take real risks. 2 affiliate streamers told the Times that they earn a flat payment as part of their deals and that their wagers in their videos have no stakes. The money is provided by the casino and they cannot keep their winnings. This is fucking fraudulent. I knew it! I fucking knew it! Put these guys in fucking prison immediately! Trainwrecks used to be like, I need to win, guys. I'm down $1 million. I need to win, guys. I'm down $1 million, guys. I need to win. As streamers have been pushed to bring in more customers, they develop techniques to reel them in. Take a live stream from Club Cheddar, a gambling streamer account. Club Cheddar did not respond for requests for an interview. Can I hear what he's saying? How come I can't hear anything? I feel like I should be hearing something. Does anybody else have this? All right, hold on. Like, it just has a guy sitting there. I feel like there should be some sort of video. I feel like I'm getting trolled. Okay, never mind. They break it down. Okay. The main video features a streamer gambling on different games for hours with live reactions and commentary drumming up excitement. Simultaneously, viewers are chatting with one another and the streamer cheering on wagers. The streamer promotes the affiliate code throughout the stream and sometimes offers giveaways to people who are watching. To encourage more bets, some streamers have leaderboards that give out rewards to fans that have gambled the most in a month. 172K in a month.
Games, fun, slots, money, slots, wins, gamble, money, gamble, jackpot, penthouse suite, expensive cars, you with a girl, winning money, wins, gamble, fun, slots, 40-hour stream, you in a McLaren, fucking buck, gamble, more, you fucking pussy, more wins, more money, more slots, charity, gamble. Please gamble responsibly.
These scumbags went to war against us because of this. It's fucking scum. The top 5 fans of Stiz TMZ, one of the most popular gambling streamers, have wagered more than $1 million each in September alone. Largely unregulated, largely Wild West. When crypto casinos started emerging online, they separated themselves from their competition by breaking well-established rules intended to make gambling safer. 2017, Sam DeMilo was 30 and struggling with a gambling addiction when he asked every gambling website he used to ban him. The process, known as self-exclusion, is one of the key tools available to stop problem gambling, according to experts, and states with regulated gambling require casinos to honor the bans. He said even the offshore sports betting sites he used properly excluded him. Then Mr. DeMillo found one of the early crypto casinos. The sites were the only places he could continue betting when he relapsed, he said, because they ignored his attempts to self-exclude. I basically put myself into the black market, he said. Now, years after successfully quitting gambling, he still gets calls from those smaller crypto casinos encouraging him to return. Since creating eVive, a mobile app that provides support for people experiencing gambling problems, he has heard similar stories over and over. The casinos became known for weak or non-existent identity verification protocols that failed to ensure gamblers met minimum age requirements and were located in countries where their sites were legal. A study conducted in 2022 found 37 out of 40 popular crypto casinos did not require proof of identity before accepting monetary deposits. Even after some sites strengthened their verification procedures in recent years, users have been able to bypass them, sometimes with the help of streamers who offer guidance in online chat rooms, the Times found. These guys should go to prison. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. They should go to jail. If you taught kids how to get around age verification shit to gamble on your shitty crypto casino, you should be in prison for years and you should lose all that money. Jail now. Gaps in the oversight system have created new markets where people sell verified crypto casino accounts registered with false identities, according to messages reviewed by the Times. One Canadian man who spoke to the Times said he made more than $18,000 this year by creating accounts using real IDs collected in India and Kenya and providing them to gamblers, most of whom were in the United States. The man who shared photos, ideas, and financial details with the Times requested not to be named because of the illicit nature of this operation. Okay, can I just say something, chat? If you allow somebody from India or Kenya to create an account in their name and then you put your money in there to gamble with, you are dumber than dirt. And by the way, I want you to understand, chat, one of the ways that scammers keep scamming people is they make you believe that the scammed deserve it. That's part of the mental prison they create so they can keep getting away with their crimes. Is they're like, well, this person did this incredibly dumb thing. You would never be that dumb. So this has nothing to do with you. You're safe. That's how they keep their scams going. So we're not going to do that. I just had to say that because it was bursting out of my chest. But as somebody who has a lot of experience, you know, when I was doing securities arbitration and in law school with people who fall for scams, we all make mistakes. I just bought a bowling ball from a bowling website. Is it possible that that bowling website is fake? I looked it up. I made sure it was real, but I bought a bowling ball. If it turns out that I lose $100 off a fake, you know what I mean? That my bowling ball doesn't arrive or whatever, that would suck. I tried my best to verify it was a good site. You know, I did what I could. If I got scammed, would that be my fault? In some ways it would, right? I could have gone to Amazon and bought the bowling ball, but I don't like Amazon. So I try not to buy shit from Amazon when I can. I'm not ashamed I fell for a scam. I fell for one scam. It's when I was a teenager and I tried to buy a computer through Craigslist. They took like $500 from me when I was in high school. That was really a bummer. I got scammed. That was the Wild West. Okay. But I was in high school. And you know what? You live and you learn. You live and you learn. I got incredibly lucky. My coworker gave me part of the cut for a referral to open a FanDuel account. I never gambled before I turned 15. I had to put it in to open the account to 2K. I've taken most out, but I still have a little in. Should I just pull it all out and delete the account? Yes. Guys, the other thing about gambling online, and I want you to understand this, is these casinos are rigged. You are not going to win. If you actually hit something by random chance, let's say that you hit it. When you try to pull it out, you're going to have a hard time getting the money out. That's just the way this shit goes. It takes forever. I once played poker online back before when poker was like being played online. I played poker online in college too. Again, I am somebody who understands. I made good money on sit and goes. You know, I made a few $1,000s in sit and goes playing poker online. But when I tried to get my money out, I had to wait for them to mail me a check, and it would take weeks. And I feel like I got lucky that I actually got the money back. Many people lost it all when these sites went down. And it turns out, by the way, that people were cheating. Owners of the casino, owner of the poker sites were cheating. They could like see people's cards and shit. So I don't trust any online gambling, and neither should you. Especially if it's in Curacao. You think the gaming, there's a gaming regulator that's going in there and making sure they aren't cheating you? At least in Nevada, there's a gaming commission that goes and tests the fucking slot machines And if they catch them, there's at least an enforcement mechanism. Curacao, thank you. Here's what I'm talking about. Full tilt poker scandal. The darkest days in poker history. Unlawful Internet Gambling Enforcement Act. Surprised this hasn't been applied to the casinos. Before he turned 18, David, the young gambler who emptied out his savings, participated in streamer leaderboards and chat rooms. He gambled with a false identity on multiple casinos, including Stake and Roobet, and had a private VIP host from Shuffle offering him rewards. The Times spoke to several US-based affiliate streamers who could broadcast their illegal gambling sessions on crypto casinos. In one case, a Stake representative helped a Texas-based streamer sidestep his identity verification to stream from the United States, according to private messages the Times reviewed. Our terms of service bar our Stake.com affiliates from operating in or targeting users in restricted regions such as the U.S. Ms. Fitzgerald, the EasyGo spokesman, said in response. She said Stake employees were never authorized to help streamers bypass verification. In their quest for growth, crypto casinos spent millions recruiting YouTube personalities and Twitch live streamers whose initial fame came from play video games and filming pranks for young male viewers. For example, Stephen Nardardis, okay, I tried, as the prank video star Steve Will Do It Online, signed a deal with Roobet to live stream himself gambling on the site. XQC, one of the most popular video game streamers on Twitch, signed a 2-year exclusive deal worth up to $100 million with Kick. Recently, Mr. Ross, who started streaming video games as a teenager, claimed to his viewers to have earned $100 million by signing a new partnership deal with RainBet, another crypto casino. RainBet did not respond to questions or confirm the details of the deal to the Times. Aiden Ross first gained online popularity on Twitch by playing video games like NBA 2K. First of all, didn't Aiden Ross get famous because he was like friends with LeBron's son or some shit? Wasn't that what it was? In the years before Twitch banned crypto casino videos, Mr. Ross started streaming himself playing casino games on sites like Stake. Look at how shit this gambling is, by the way. Look at how fucking garbage this is. Look how fucking garbage this slot machine is. This is a fucking trash slot machine. Like, look at how badly this is animated, how ugly it is. This is fucking trash. For the last 3 years, Mr. Ross has streamed himself gambling on crypto casinos on Kick. Some crypto casinos have worked with streamers who were under 21. Duel, a new crypto casino that started this year, was promoted by Neon, a young social media celebrity who first made videos as a preteen and now has more than 250 million views on YouTube. Neon, whose real name is Mikhail Rafik, made a promotional gambling videos in July when he was still 20 and appeared to be streaming from his home in California, where online gambling is illegal, according to a Times analysis of his streams. He said in a video that he had a contract to stream himself gambling. In one stream, he told his fans, "I remember when I was a 17-year-old kid gambling every day. It was so much fun." Duel and Mr. Rafik did not respond to requests for comment. He played video games on Twitch. Years later, Mr. Rafik had become a social media celebrity and started promoting a crypto casino named Duel. Them in prison. You're having a largely unregulated, largely Wild West kind of approach to advertising, said Joshua Grubbs, an associate professor at the University of New Mexico who studies online addictions. Addictive behaviors are normalized, and streamers like Mr. Ross and Mr. Rafik have admitted during their videos to having gambling problems. I lost every dollar of crypto. When I was 17, I had like a crippling gambling addiction. I was sports betting like $100K a day, and I lost it all. I lost every dollar of crypto.
I had like a crippling gambling addiction. I was sports betting like $100K a day. Wow. And I lost it all. I lost every dollar of crypto. When I was 17, I had like a crippling gambling addiction.
Send these motherfuckers to prison. The absence of guardrails means that a disproportionately large number of people are going to develop problems, Mr. Grubbs said. We can't keep up. Even though crypto casinos have existed for years, regulators around the world have struggled to control them. I want you to understand something, chat. That this is not because they can't. It's because nobody is making them do it. You don't think the United States can call up Curacao on the phone and send the fucking ambassador over to the presidential palace and be like, hey, you've got a bunch of scam casinos here. We want to shut them down. And you don't think they'll be shut down in 5 fucking minutes? In the United States, gambling is mostly regulated at the state level with different laws in each state. Online casino games are legal only in 7 states, and none of them allow gambling with cryptocurrencies, but the fragmented regulatory system and outdated laws have left authorities slow to react. The young people who use the sites, on the other hand, have become increasingly sophisticated. They use virtual private networks or VPNs to hide their locations, and they are well versed in social media networks where illicit activity is encouraged. The kids are much more technologically advanced than the lawmakers and the researchers. They are trying to provide stopgaps or controls for them. Honestly, this isn't even true. Most Zoomers are literally iPad kids. Like, they actually don't know how the computer works. They can only barely follow step-by-step instructions handed to them. That used to be true for my generation. Like, if I wanted to be on the computer, I had to understand the computer. All right? That's not true anymore. People are on their phones and going... Some U.S. states have taken action to disrupt crypto casinos and other illegal gambling websites. The Michigan Gaming Control Board said that it had sent more than 100 cease and desist letters, including one to Stake's U.S. operations. Stake.us stopped allowing gamblers from Michigan to use the site. But the ability of state regulators to crack down on the sites is limited, especially because crypto casinos are licensed overseas and use cryptocurrencies. Many of the smaller sites don't have an actual address or a point of contact. Legal experts said certain states have laws banning advertising of illegal gambling, which could be used against crypto casino streamers based in the U.S. Oh, at President AOC, we are coming for you. We're coming for you. I am so... Oh, God, when we win in 3 years... I'm gonna do ride-alongs as they go arrest XQC. Open up! Open up! I can't wait for the day that kick.com, instead of when you go there, instead of a bunch of people being murdered live on stream or pedophiles soliciting children for sex, or people selling illegal crypto gambling websites and shilling for them, it just says seized by the fucking government. Class action lawsuits on behalf of gamblers who lost money have been filed in some states, including one in Missouri in October, that accused Stake, Mr. Ross, and Drake of deceptive marketing. Stake said it rejected allegations related to the Missouri suit and would vigorously defend itself against the claims. Cases like this could take years to litigate. In August, a coalition of 50 U.S. attorneys general admitted they needed help addressing the growing problem of illicit online gambling, including crypto casinos. One of the things, the best parts of being a politics Andy, is I know when there's a gathering storm. I can see the clouds darkening over on the horizon. And it's slow for the pace of the internet, right? Like, who can remember when H3 Podcast made fun of XQC and he did the worm for his disgusting gambling casino? Remember when H3 Podcast was the last good thing they ever did? If you look back at that now, all of the gambling casino streamers are now allied with H3. Because for the internet, time moves very quick. Things change. What the fuck is this? U.S. forces have intercepted and seized a sanctioned oil tanker off the coast of Venezuela. So they're doing piracy now? They're just doing piracy now? How is this not piracy? Republicans are doing it, so the rules are different. This is literally just piracy. This is or more accurately privateering. Although technically this is illegal filibustering, because I never saw a fucking law pass that we were at war with fucking Venezuela. So this is actually filibustering. If you don't know what filibustering actually means, it means illegal war. Okay, this is not the only definition. It first applied to pirates who pillaged the Spanish colonies of the West Indies. American adventurers who had cited revolution in several Latin American states. Lawless plunderer. I love how if you're white, they call you an adventurer. I love how if you're white and you commit horrible crimes against humanity, they'll call you an adventurer. And chat, let's just say William Walker's life ended very, very well. After writing an account of his Central American campaign, Walker once again returned to the region. British colonists and Roatan Bay Islands, fearing the Honduran government would move to assert its control over them, approached Walker with an offer to help him establishing an independent English-speaking administration over the islands. Walker disembarked at the port city of Trujillo. I can never pronounce this, chat. I really can't pronounce Honduran words. I'm sorry. I can't. But it was arrested by Royal Navy officer Noel Salmon, Britain, who maintained control over nearby British Honduras and the Mosquito Coast. planned on constructing an interoceanic canal through Central America, regarded Walker as a threat to its own affairs in the region. He was tried by Honduran military court on charges of piracy and filibusterism. In his defense, Walker argued that piracy involved robbery at sea and filibusterism was not a recognized legal term. Rutler was sentenced to 4 years of hard labor in Honduran mines, while Walker was sentenced to be executed by firing squad, which was carried out. May all filibusterers find the same fate. In a letter to Attorney General Pam Bondi, they asked for Justice Department assistance to seize assets and internet domain names from illegal online gambling operations and to block access to their website. Since 2013, the U.S. DOJ enforcement actions against illegal offshore gambling sites have been extremely limited, the letter said. A spokeswoman for the Justice Department told The Times in response that illegal internet gambling sites posed a threat to public safety and that the department was committed to holding these operators accountable. Spaghetti-o! Yes. Now, obviously, Trump is incompetent and evil, and it's probably not truly going to happen under his presidency. But, you know, FBI agent that watches my stream because I'm a radical leftist. Can you instead arrest XQC? Thank you. As regulators figure out a path forward, support groups are grappling with an increase. Like, let's be honest. FBI agent that watches my stream. Let's be fucking honest. Who's more likely to hurt people? Me? The literal millions of kids that these rats are entrapping in their illegal casinos. Let's be honest. Don't you feel guilty? Don't you feel guilty that you're watching this? Like, aren't you embarrassed with yourself? This is what you wanted to be an FBI agent for? Anyway, as regulators figure out a path forward, support groups are grappling with an increase in gambling among young people. Robin Singh, the team leader for Queen's Problem Gambling Resource Center in New York City, said the viral nature of social media videos easily outpaced awareness efforts. We can't keep up with the most popular streamers that are on the internet. That's the problem, unfortunately, that the issue spreads way faster than the solution does. It used to be that people who were addicted to gambling had to travel to the casinos to get their fix. Later on, you had to be home on your home computer to partake, but now your gambling addiction fits in your pocket and follows you everywhere you go. You can never escape it. And of course, it's the young people who are most susceptible. It breaks my heart. Ladies and gentlemen, the article is here. It will happen. We will see the day that all these crypto gambling guys are arrested. It may not be this year. It may not be next year. But we're going to do everything we can to get these motherfuckers in prison. All right, let's talk about this.
This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, The War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman. Attorney General Pam Bondi's ordered the FBI to compile a list of what the Justice Department is calling domestic terrorist organizations. Last week, Bondi sent a memo to all federal prosecutors and law enforcement agencies targeting a wide range of people, including those who hold what she calls, quote, extreme views in favor of mass migration and open borders, adherence to radical gender ideology, anti-Americanism, anti-capitalism, or anti-Christianity, unquote. The memo also targets people who show, quote, hostility towards traditional views on family, religion, and morality, unquote. The investigative journalist Ken Klippenstein published a copy of Bondi's memo on his Substack page on Saturday. Klippenstein notes Bondi's language echoes a national security presidential memorandum issued by President Trump known as NSPM 7 to target nonprofits and activists. Trump signed the directive in September in the wake of the murder of right-wing activist Charlie Kirk. Ken Klippenstein, thanks so much for being with us from Madison, Wisconsin. Why don't you tell us how you got a hold of this memo?
Well, it was provided to me by somebody who I can't really say much more than had access to it. And what it was an implementation order for that NSPM 7 directive from President Trump, which essentially targets anyone who isn't MAGA. At first, I looked at it and thought, oh, this is targeting the left. But then you see these so-called indicators of terrorism, things like anti-Christian sentiment, anti-American sentiment. And I realized that's not just the left. That's anyone who isn't a Trump supporter.
So explain the significance of this, Ken Klippenstein.
It essentially takes NSPM 7, which advances the view that a major threat of terrorism is coming from these, anti-Trump sentiments, and it puts it into effect. It uses tools available to the federal government and federal law enforcement in particular. For example, directs the FBI to go through its past half decade or so of intelligence on Antifa and on some of these other groups I've been talking about, and tells them to make criminal cases around those and to circulate intelligence about it. And part of that intelligence production effort involves soliciting tips from the public, getting people to narc on their fellow citizens who are evincing this anti-Trump sentiment. So in one case, it tells the FBI to upgrade and kind of supercharge its tip system so that they can get this flow of information coming in from informants all over the country, reporting on threats like these.
You believe?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that again? It cut out for just a
Who
second.
is the architect of this memo, do you believe, of the NSPM-7?
One of the things that I've always talked about, chat, is that I've always been aware that Red Scares are very, very tightly around the corner. Remember how I talked to you guys about the Communist Control Act of 1954 and how liberals voted for it? The Communist Control Act, which sought to combat the spread of communism and labor unions. The act made membership in the Communist Party a criminal act and stipulated that all party members would be sanctioned with a $10,000 fine or imprisonment for 5 years if they failed to register with the U.S. Attorney General as such, and that the Communist Party would be deprived of the rights, privileges, and immunities of a legal body. The Red Scare is always there because the closer we get to seizing state power, the closer they are to losing their power. This episode of the True It On App podcast is a good review of the many Red Scares that happened. Damn, that's really cool. I didn't see this. I might listen to this. This seems really, really interesting. Thank you for the link.
I would say it's not a person so much as an incident, which was the murder of Charlie Kirk, as national security officials described to me shortly after the murder. The very next day, there was a war room convened by the White House. And I think kind of unofficially taking point on this was President Trump's Homeland Security advisor, Stephen Miller. And he kind of orchestrated, along with all these other national security appointees, how are we going to respond to this? And the decision was made that we would make anti-Trump sentiment tantamount to this terrorist threat, and we were going to prosecute it as such. So I guess I would say, if I was to point to one single person, I would say Stephen Miller. But this is really an attitude held by a lot of people in the administration, which I think is genuine fear in the wake of that shooting, that something like that might happen to them. And so we have to create a response. And what that is essentially the same sort of response to 9/11. But in this case, it's directed at Americans.
Ken, is money involved with this?
Yeah, absolutely. So it directs the Treasury Department to audit taxes and try to find, the administration seems convinced that there's some shadowy foreign group or financiers for a lot of the sentiments I was describing before, and Antifa in particular. And so it authorizes them to go through nonprofits' taxes, and to try to find evidence of something which there's no public evidence exists.
But is there a reward being offered, like if someone calls an FBI tip line?
Yeah, absolutely. So that's another thing that this implementation order directs. It provides for a funding system to reward people that provide these tips that I was described before. It's basically a bounty system for anti-Trump thought and reporting on it.
And it goes back retroactively 5 years?
Yeah, the FBI right now, pursuant to this order, is digging through all of its intelligence to find whatever they can, going back to the Biden administration, that can be used to help make these cases.
So the memo targets organizations, not only formal NGOs, but also book clubs, community, mutual networks, mutual aid networks, online forums.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And it uses the phrase organizations and entities which can mean individuals. So again, it can't be overstated how sweeping a directive like this is. This isn't targeted, and to the extent that it's being reported as directed at Antifa, I think it's important to remember, Antifa may not exist as such, but it includes a lot more than that. It also describes people opposed to immigration enforcement, which if you look at polling is like, the way in which immigration enforcement has been rolled out under this administration, that could describe half the country or more of it. So this is really much bigger than just Antifa. And to the extent that Antifa means anything, the administration defines it in its own way, which is different than how a lot of people would define Antifa. So it's really important to understand that.
I mean, we just did a segment on the Pentagon bombing boats without evidence of them
Open presents, not even the 25 gifties.
As the Trump administration calls them narco-terrorists. They're talking about foreign terrorists, so-called. So here you're talking about a domestic terrorist network. Are we talking about no trial, no paid-for accusations? How does this work?
Yeah, I mean, the business of counterterrorism is a very ugly business. It is essentially pre-crime in the sense that you are authorized to go and make investigations without the usual predicate that you would need of someone having committed a crime or finding evidence that suggests someone committed a crime. In counterterrorism, the theory behind it is that the threat is so great that we need to suspend those ordinary evidentiary standards for premising an investigation. And instead, all you need are these so-called indicators. And the Trump administration is defining those indicators as a lot of these groups we've just been describing, which can apply to millions and millions of Americans. These are very mainstream views, opposition to immigration enforcement and the way in which it's been carried out this year. So the dragnet has gotten far wider. I mean, after 9/11, these tools were pointed at groups like Al-Qaeda and ISIS, and to, unfortunately, some extent, just American Muslims caught up in this dragnet. But they've widened this to include far larger sets of people. And so what we're really seeing is the global war on terror coming home and becoming a domestic war on terror.
Ken Klippenstein, I want to thank you for being with us, investigative reporter. We'll link to your latest piece, FBI Making List of American Extremists, memo reveals.
So, in other words, everything that Americans supposedly held out as like, hey, at least we in America, we could say what we want and believe what we want. Sure, nothing works. The schools are shit. You can't afford a doctor. The infrastructure is falling apart. But at least I could say Kofifi Trump. Remember that? Kofifi Trump. That's the only thing we have left. And I gotta be honest with you. Not looking good. Not looking good. We have Kofifi Trump. President Kofifi. That's going to be a sign that you are on the list.
Thanks for watching Democracy.
There is a interview that I wanted to watch with you guys because it's called "The Plan is to Make the Internet Worse Forever." And I saw some clips from this. It's long as fuck, but the clips were kind of fire. So I wanted to just kind of chill and watch this. If you guys are okay with it. There's another story I was going to talk about, by the way, real quick, which is U.S. plans to scrutinize foreign tourists' social media history. Visitors from countries like Britain and France, whose citizens don't need visas, will have to share 5 years worth of social media. Travelers visiting the United States from countries like Britain, France, Germany, and South Korea could soon have to undergo a review of up to 5 years of their social media history. The change would affect visitors eligible for the visa waiver program, which allows people from 42 countries to travel to the United States for up to 90 days without a visa as long as they first obtained electronic travel authorization. In a document filed on Tuesday in the Federal Register, the Customs and Border Patrol said it plans to ask applicants for a long list of personal data, including social media, email addresses from the last decade, and the names, birth dates, places of residence, and birthplaces of parents, spouses, siblings, and children. Under the current system, applicants for visa waiver countries must enroll in the electronic system for travel authorization program. They pay $40 and submit an email address, home address, phone number, and emergency contact information. The authorization is good for 2 years. The move from the CBP follows similar actions by U.S. government to conduct social media reviews for visa applicants, including seekers of H-1B visas awarded to skilled foreign workers, as well as applicants for student and scholar visas. It also follows the government's pending plans to collect a new $250 visa integrity fee for many visitors through visitors from visa waiver countries are exempt from the fee. The travel industry has pushed back on the visa integrity fee. In November, a coalition of more than 20 tourism and travel businesses signed a letter of opposition, citing concerns that the fee would discourage millions of prospective international visitors to the United States, including those traveling to events like next year's World Cup. You want to come to the World Cup? You better not have criticized Trump. No bueno criticizing Trump. You better not have criticized Trump. The travel industry, who spoke anonymously because his organization has not yet time to review the proposal, said the CPP did not brief industry stakeholders on the plan, which he called a significant escalation in traveler vetting. If the plan is approved, the CBP could enact the changes gradually over the following weeks and months. Bo Cooper, a partner of Fragomen, called the government's new approach to social media screening a paradigm shift. From when agencies used to use social media to verify specific facts, such as criminal activity, the new method involves looking at online speech and then denying travel based on discretion and policy about the kinds of things that get said. It'll be interesting to watch the tourism numbers. The firm warned that the government's increase in data collection could result in longer waits for travelers to get authorization to visit the United States, in addition to an increased likelihood of being flagged for closer scrutiny. Sophia Cope, a senior staff attorney for the Electronic Frontier Foundation, a digital rights group, said that in a statement that the mandatory social media disclosure and surveillance would exacerbate civil liberties harms. It has not proven effective at finding terrorists and other bad guys, she added, but it has chilled the free speech and invaded the privacy of innocent travelers, along with that of their American families, friends, and colleagues. Who would subject themselves to that? If another country required me to do that, I would cancel my trip. I guess the goal is to isolate us from the rest of the world. If you're kind of down in the dumps about America becoming a shithole, just
where Premier Li Qiang says
China is winning.
States tariffs have dealt a severe blow to the global economy. The world's second largest economy has nonetheless posted a record $1 trillion trade surplus, raising concerns in Europe and prompting French President Emmanuel Macron to threaten tariffs of his own on his visit to Beijing. Meanwhile, in Washington, Donald Trump is awaiting a Supreme Court ruling on the legality of the tariffs he's imposed since taking office. Monty Francis has the details on the growing tensions and what they could mean for global trade.
My fellow Americans, this is Liberation Day.
When Donald Trump announced sweeping tariffs on most U.S. imports in April, he called it Liberation Day. But so far, few in the U.S. or the rest of the world appear to be cheering. On Tuesday, China's premier said the tariffs had been bad for the global economy, despite the fact Beijing's trade surplus has just surged past $1 trillion.
Starting from the beginning of this year, we've seen the stick of tariffs being wielded around the world with growing restrictive measures on the economy and trade, which have dealt a severe blow to the global economy.
Trump's tariffs have caused China to redirect goods from the U.S. to Europe, and French President Emmanuel Macron, who just returned from a visit to China, has threatened to impose tariffs of his own on Chinese imports in the coming months if Beijing fails to reduce its massive trade surplus with the European Union. Meanwhile, Trump appears nervous about what the U.S. Supreme Court could decide about the legality of his tariffs, given the Constitution gives the power to impose taxes to Congress, not the executive branch. On Tuesday, he said in a social media post, the biggest threat in history to the U.S. national security would be a negative decision on tariffs by the U.S. Supreme Court. We would be financially defenseless. On Monday, Trump seemed to tacitly acknowledge the tariffs were not having their intended effect, announcing a $12 billion bailout for American farmers, calling it a bridge payment until China resumed buying U.S. farming goods, something he
Wow, chat. Again, remember, just so you understand how big $12 billion is, this is something to always keep in mind. The entire education budget for children in Pennsylvania, a state with 13 million people, is $8 billion. So whenever you hear a number greater than 8 billion, think about every elementary school, think about every middle school, think of every high school, all the teachers, all the students, all the principals, all the bus drivers, all the janitors, all the lunch ladies, all the kindergarten teachers and all the AP teachers. Think about those numbers, the thousands and thousands and thousands of people that represents, and realize that they're giving $4 billion more than that to farmers as a giveaway. Like, do you understand how little we spend on our kids and how much we spend on these fucking bailouts and wars? It's fucking insane. It's crazy. It's crazy.
extracted from President Xi during their meeting in October. Critics of the president say he's just solving a problem he himself caused, given China boycotted U.S. agricultural goods in response to the tariffs.
For more insights, let's turn to Jean-François Di Meglio, economist and honorary chair at the Asia Center. Jean-François, thanks so much for joining us here on the show. In terms of the American farmers, if we can just start there, would you go as far as to say, like those critics, that Trump has, in fact, just solved the problem that he himself created, especially when you look at how the U.S. Is going head-to-head with China?
Well, the main impact is obviously China redirecting its exports, as was said, from the U.S. to other parts of the world. If you look at the latest numbers, when you mentioned the $1 billion surplus, that's over the last 12 months, and actually exports to US fell 25% roughly, while exports to Africa went up 27%. To Europe, it was about 15%. So obviously there is a redirection of Chinese exports. And the main region which benefits from this redirection is probably Southeast Asia, which becomes now the first trade partner for China. So obviously China is hedging its bets, yet China is heavily relying on trade and heavily relying on exports to reap benefits from exports, because otherwise China's growth is impacted by the various trade tariffs.
You mentioned the exports and its heavy reliance on them. In fact, that has also been criticized, with many pointing to the fact that China is overly reliant on exports. And now you say that it is going to increase by 15% here in Europe. What will that mean for the average European consumer?
Well, European consumers may be impacted by tariffs, as President Macron hinted. Yet the first point is that tariffs are not decided at the national level, but they are decided at European level. And if indeed tariffs are decided, that could mean that Chinese price would go down for two reasons. One would be the value of the Chinese currency. Currently, the Chinese currency is very weak because first, it's indexed to the US dollar, which is very weak versus euro. And Chinese currency is also weak with the euro, of course. That brings prices down. And on top of this, you may have price cuts by Chinese exporters if they want to remain. They keep their market share to Europe, especially for cars. Chinese cars have been impacted by tariffs, as you know. Some brands up to 37%, yet Chinese cars are still selling into Europe because they are still cheaper than European electric cars.
Who do you see blinking first in this growing trade war? Just leaving the Europeans aside, is it going to be the United States reducing tariffs on Beijing, or is it going to be Beijing diversifying away from its export-driven model?
Well, I wouldn't say who will blink first. The two counterparts, China and the US, know that over time they would decrease their mutual reliance. It's obvious that China is going towards strategic autonomy, exactly like Europe, just like France, but it will take time. So whenever you see negotiation between US and China, that means each side is buying time and trying to become more autonomous vis-à-vis the other one. For example, for chips, China is now building domestic industry, which is becoming really competitive to the US. Now for Europe, it's a very different game because Europe will have very, very hard time to become totally autonomous on various sectors, be it agriculture, be it...
By the way, the major advantage that Chinese firms have that American and European firms complain about is that they have a state-run banking industry. So instead of forcing firms to only produce or invest in infrastructure or production that could produce profits at, financing rates of 6 or 10%, they're investing in construction and production that has profits at, financing rates of 1 to 3 to 4%. What that means is that China's doing a hell of a lot more investing, a hell of a lot more construction, a hell of a lot more infrastructure, a hell of a lot more production. And that production is profitable because China has put the squeeze on what? The finance industry. Less profits for the finance industry, more profits, more production for the productive elements of society. And because of the nature of how economies work, there are positive externalities. So the more marginal things that are invested in, the more growth you see, and then the more wealth you have, and the more you can do in the future. So it's an accelerating circle. Because they've squeezed the finance sector, they're able to outcompete. And then when you add in the positive network effects of being the world's leading manufacturing hub, so they have all that talent, they have all that institutional knowledge, they have all that expertise in concentrated high infrastructure areas, it just leads to a snowball. And we can't compete. It's just, we cannot compete because we rotate and we allow finance capital to dominate our economies. So China builds a nuclear power plant that's profitable because they got a 2% loan. America doesn't build that nuclear power plant. 10 years later, that nuclear power plant has paid off that original loan with interest. It is now operating purely for profit. America doesn't have a nuclear power plant. So 10 years from now, China has a paid off 1,000 megawatt nuclear power plant. The US has nothing. That is it. That is the bar. Because in the US, it wouldn't have made money at 6% interest. So it doesn't make money. We don't build it. That is the reality. That's the difference. And because China has managed to control banking for the interest of Chinese people instead of the interest of bankers, we're fucking cooked. We are fucking cooked.
Chips, other sectors, energy in particular. So it will take time. We are also moving towards autonomy, but it will take probably much longer time than for the US or China.
Just a final word on those chips. The United States hardliners have criticized Donald Trump's administration for allowing the sale of thousands of NVIDIA chips to be shipped to Beijing. Yes. They say that it could lead to China harnessing that technology for military purposes. I'm just curious where you stand on that.
Could be, chat. They want you to fucking have an aneurysm over fear-mongering. That's what it comes down to. China hasn't done anything aggressive, but they could. Aren't you scared? Meanwhile, America fucking bombing Venezuela, supporting Israel's genocide as we speak. It's like, why ignore America's Sudan allies committing genocide and piling up corpses so large you can see them from satellite. No, ignore that. But China might do something.
There's probably no mystery about that. But it's not the first time. And this is probably part of a wider bargain. I don't think China is only relying on NVIDIA for its military equipments. China also has its own military equipments which are domestic. And as you can see, every month NVIDIA is changing tack from releasing some chips, keeping them from being exported. So yes, the US criticism is right. However, it's only a matter of time before China becomes totally autonomous in that sector.
Jean-François Di Meglio, thanks so much for just unpacking the situation as it stands. Real thorough economic outlook on what's happening in the world of trade.
How Gavin Newsom became the Democrats' 2028 frontrunner. I gotta be honest with you, chat. Coffee Cow mentioned, can't wait for Atrioc to react to this. Atrioc may be one of the worst political influencers I've ever seen because I have never seen him say anything that is interesting. I'll be honest with you, chat. Maybe you guys can link me, please. I would love to see some Atrioc comments that are interesting, other than being a Democratic Party shill. Please give me one thing. You should invite Atrioc as a guest. He's a very popular Twitch streamer who focuses on economic analysis and has a vast community whom he discusses the modern crises for the younger generation. He was on Gavin Newsom's podcast and what is the most high-impact guest. Would love to see you talk to him since he's a big fan of abundance. I formally declare debate with Atrioc at any time, any place, anywhere. You could even use AI assistance. Disgusting. Class consciousness Christmas. Get the fuck out of here with this shit. Ugh.
How do I say this without kicking off the new year in such a crazy way? I realized that a vast majority of people online get their opinions from one of these three people. And so I watched a little bit of all of their mostly YouTube content. And I was like, man, I do think there's a market opportunity for something else.
Wow, I don't know about you, chat, but when I talk about politics, I think about my market opportunity.
And it's farther right. How do I say this without...
I really want to find his best clip. Clanker memes are hilarious. It's time to buy.
My super conservative mom just told me she's going to put a rack a month into NVIDIA starting now. Never a better time to start than when they're the most valuable company in the world by far. I had a chart for this. You're about to get a true experience. This is the meme. The monkey says buy. And then when it's at the bottom and it's red, they sell. My super conservative mom. No context British politics.
Hughes David Stephen, commonly known as Lord Buckethead, 125.
You were staying at the house of a convicted sex offender.
It was a convenient place to stay.
My milkshake brings all the people to the rally.
I keep mine in here.
This is Sniper Wolf. This is Sniper Wolf. But worse, Sniper Wolf is more this is Sniper Wolf reacts level. This is your clips. Is there anything where he says anything?
Nope. Oh, my super conservative mom just told me she's going to put a...
I'm sorry, Chad. I clicked this. I don't know why.
America is a nation that can be defined in a single word. I was going to put him in...
He was right. People are too ashamed to admit it. There's only one word that describes how crazy things are right now. Okay? It's not a word you've heard, but it was right, dude.
America is a nation that can...
My goal is to make every fractional second of my life into a monetizable piece of content. This channel is a breakthrough. Not every moment. I heard of some private moments that you got embarrassed about. Oh, he's doing China is better than the US now video. Okay, cool. This could no longer be ignored.
Oh, I wanted to watch this. Wait. If you've been watching this channel for a while, there was a period like 2 years ago where all I talked about was Chinese EVs. And I had to constantly debate my chat who were like, oh my God, Chinese EVs, they all explode. It's not the fake numbers, fake news. And then as time passed, those people started to slowly.
Man, the pro-China stuff is now with the neoliberal, like Gavin Newsom scum. That's good. Somebody give me their best Atrioc videos. I want their best Atrioc like commentary videos.
Did Mamdani win? We don't know yet, but almost assuredly, based on the way polls are closing, Zoran Mamdani, 49.6% of the vote thus far. What's interesting is this is the highest turnout in a New York election since like 1969. It is a true bellwether that people are taken to the streets. They're woken up. You know, I think it aligns with what we've been talking about on this stream, though. People are fired up, bro.
He is Elizabeth Warren. She has been in talks to interview Graham Plattner, and he glazes Lena Khan. I've seen this type of grifting before. These people are the Elizabeth Warren fans of 2020.
Trump just truth socialed. Whether you personally like Andrew Cuomo or not, you have no choice. You must vote for him and hope he does a fantastic job. He's capable of it. Mamdani is not. That is the least inspiring political message I've ever heard.
Okay. Someone please give me his like hardcore takes. I need his like economic takes. He's wearing his Enron hat, right? He wears his Enron hat all the time. I guess he's making fun of Enron.
Listen, I know the way a lot of people in this chat lean. Malay haters on watch. We gotta talk about Argentina, bro. Malay haters on watch. He crushed this election. There was election on Sunday. He did quite well, way better than expected. Way better. We gotta watch a little video about it. Again, let me give you the timeline here. I have mixed.
All it took was $40 billion of U.S. bailouts.
Feelings on Malay, but I have honest feelings, and I feel like a lot of people swing one way or the other too hard. Here's the truth. Here's the timeline. Event 1, Argentina in absolute economic chaos. This is not talked about enough. People that have such strong opinions on Malay one way or another do not talk enough about how Argentina was in the true hyperinflation era, like true poverty, hyperinflation, horrendous economy, things getting measurably worse. Like,
so his larger point is that he thinks that Milei is good. It's gonna do good for Argentina because he doesn't understand the nature of how these neoliberalizations work. Because I guess he's never actually studied what happens, the sequence of events. The reason, does he understand why Argentina needed the bailout in the first place? Does he understand why they needed the bailout?
prices changing during the day. Like you get paid in the morning and you have to rush out and buy things because by the end of the day, the prices will be higher. That is the environment that led to Malay. So you get Chainsaw Man. I think they made an anime about it. That's Event 2. And he comes in and says a lot of wild things, but one of the main things he says is he's gonna cut the massive government deficit. And I had a comment. Someone said some crazy shit in the comment on my last Malay video, and I responded with a long thing about my thoughts. Here's the thing. If you have poverty in your country and your government finds a way to build houses for them or give them food, that's one thing. That can be effective. That is a sacrifice. The government is taking from something else to give that. That's something. But if the government prints pesos to give you money to buy food or give you money to buy housing, all that's doing is increasing the price of housing and increasing the price of food. Do you understand? They're just printing money. They're not making any sacrifice and they're giving it to you. And all of Argentina was propped up on these absurd social programs they could not afford.
Now, chat, the reason why Atrioc is garbage is if you're going to say stuff like this, you have to provide your sources, and I need your evidence. I need you to present where you're getting this information from and what the programs were that were so extreme, what the deficit was, what exactly, like he's just saying they had extreme social programs, which is, I know you're going to be surprised to hear this, chat. Not true. I don't know if you know this. I'm going to blow your fucking mind. It's not true.
To move real wealth around if you're trying to, you can't just print it. So he promised to cut those, which I believe in because I don't believe any country can sustainably run massive deficits without throwing the problem on a future generation. It doesn't work. It always.
Okay, so he basically doesn't understand how money works. All money is a claim on future consumption. That's what money is. Okay. Now, money is issued by the government in order to pay down. The problem with Argentina is they took debt in a foreign currency, the United States dollar. So if the peso depreciates against the dollar, it causes the value of their debt payments, the cost of their debt payments to radically increase. They did so because of the International Monetary Fund requiring them to do so. Dollar denominated asset debt is what fucks countries up because they don't have sovereign control over their national debt. They have to have dollars in order to pay it off, which means that they are at the whim of the foreign currency exchange.
Ends up with somebody holding the bag and having a worse quality of life. They have a
That's not how it works. As long as the economy and the GDP grows, it's just simply an investment. And if you have a private surplus, that means you have to have a government deficit because that's how the books balance. In other words, if the economy is going to grow, there either needs to be a public deficit or a trade surplus. This is basic accounting 101. I don't think Atrioc knows anything. I actually don't think he knows anything. This is just basic accounting and logic economy-wide. Either there is a deficit on the private side, meaning bank accounts and asset values are declining in order being liquidated to pay taxes. That's what happens when you have a surplus. Or there needs to be a trade surplus, meaning you're selling the value of goods sold to a forwarder is much greater than the value. That's the only way that you could have a surplus and private expenditures within a country or private assets within a country go up. There has to be either a trade surplus or a government debt. That is it. Those are the only ways. This is how accounting is. This is, again, Econ 101. It's crazy. It's actually crazy how he doesn't know this.
Suffering generation because of your largesse. I can see the rationale behind that. And here's step 3. Some of these things, not all of these things.
This is baby shit. I could do a whole video. This is baby shit? This is the shit people are watching in the center? This is baby shit.
But some of these things did work. It worked to stabilize the currency. It lowered inflation from like
90. That's why they got a bailout, because the currency failed. What? Okay, Atrioc is has no idea what he's talking about. None whatsoever. What happened in Argentina is they had a lot of state-owned enterprise, okay? That means companies owned by the government. What Milei did is come in and sold all those state-owned assets, which created the illusion of a surplus. Because they did what? You know, if you own an oil, for example, you have a state-owned oil company, which countries like Norway have. Oh my God, their economy's in shambles. That's what Atrioc is against, right? State-owned corporations. Saudi Arabia has a state-owned oil company. Norway has a state-owned oil company. It's very common. You sell off these state assets, you get a windfall profits, but the thing is, it's for 1 quarter. And that pays all the debts you have, right? Or that pays the deficit, and now you have a surplus. Well, now, next quarter, you're not selling the fucking state-owned oil company anymore. So where are you getting the revenue needed to cover the deficit? It does not exist. So what do? You cut benefits like Atrioc advised. So that means, oh, are you an old lady on retirement and you're relying on your old age pension to eat and clothe yourself and house yourself? Well, I'm cutting your old age pension. So millions of old people are now not able to make ends meet. They were relying on a government pension that was promised them. Now it's cut because Atrioc thinks that's a good idea. And now millions of people are out on the streets. Well, guess what? Because they don't have their government pension. Guess what they're not doing? Paying their landlord, going to the grocery store, paying for food. Guess what happens to grocery stores? They start going belly up because they don't have enough revenue coming in. The economy starts to shrink. This is what happens. So you sold the state-owned enterprise. That creates a short-term sugar high. And then that balances things out for like 6 months. The people that buy the state-owned enterprise, they get rich. And then it creates, now we have a fundamental account imbalance. So what does Melee do? He's not going to raise taxes on the rich. He's a far right winger like Atrioc likes. And so what does he do? He cuts benefits further, which causes the economy to get worse. And what is happening is Argentina's currency was, because there's less economic activity, guess what? There's less demand for the Argentinian peso. Congratulations. You destroyed the economy. So because there's less demand for the Argentinian peso in the foreign exchange, the dollar, so the Argentinian peso inflates, meaning devalues. So all this thing about how they're going to fix the Argentinian peso, the hyperinflation didn't work. So all this right-wing cutting, if you impoverished all these people, and now you have a situation where the U.S. has to go in and forcibly buy billions of dollars of Argentinian pesos. So we give them $20 billion in exchange for Argentinian pesos. Last month, during the longest government shutdown in U.S. history, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent announced the United States had offered to functionally loan Argentina $20 billion. The Exchange Stabilization Fund is essentially the Treasury Department's private slush fund. In 90 years since its creation, it's only been used one time at a scale to bail out an emerging economy, Mexico in 1995. So basically, the federal government poured $20 billion into the exchange markets to buy up the peso in order to stop it from collapsing. Now, why did they do this? Because Melee is a far-right winger, and he's giving the assets of the Argentine people to American corporations and bankers who are going to profit hands over fist. So to ensure American bankers profit, your tax dollars in the slush fund go to Argentina to bail them out in the exchange, because he is destroying the economy of Argentina even worse. So whatever the fuck he's talking about isn't even real. It's like baby shit. Let me see if I can show you a chart. He's been the president of Argentina since 2023. Do you see how the inflation got worse in 2024? To 200, and so Atrioc lied to you and said that, oh yeah, the inflation was like hyperinflation, and yes, inflation in Argentina was high, and unfortunately high, like too high. But then he got elected in 2023, and the next year it was 220%, which necessitated the massive bailout this year of $40 billion. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? The real crisis accelerated while he was president. And the only reason anything has slowed down is because the U.S. government selected Argentina for special treatment.
+% down to 2%. There was rental supply increase in Buenos Aires. He
just reading propaganda shit. Rental supply increase because more people they didn't suddenly build a bunch of shit. It's because a bunch of people got thrown out of their apartment because they couldn't afford their rent. Hey guys, the number of apartments for rent in Argentina has gone up because there's more people that have been evicted.
Had some real effects, some real positive effects, not all. Now, him personally is where I had some real problems, because he, one, endorsed the crypto scam, then backtracked, but it was problematic. And then two, this is much worse, more damagingly, his sister was caught on tape saying that she was like siphoning 3% of all the payments that they hadn't cut towards like poor people. Like they have like a government program that like helps aid for, and she was like siphoning it. Okay, I'm being too reductive. It's a little more nuanced than that, but that's how I took it, and that's I think a fair assessment. It was definitely like a 3% surcharge. It was corrupt, and so because of that, because of the sister corruption, there was a bit of a political scandal. Additionally, the shock value of cutting these programs, whether you economically agree with me that they don't work long term, is going to be painful. You have to have growing jobs. You can't just like cut them off and then leave them with nothing. So the poverty rate did increase. It's complicated. I'm saying Argentina's a country economically. There's no easy way out. A lot of things are going to happen. Because of both these things, his party lost an election in Buenos Aires. And because of that, everyone thought, oh, he's doomed in the real elections, which were yesterday. The real elections were on Sunday. People thought he was doomed. And because they thought he was doomed, most investors from other countries thought, oh my God, Argentina's going to go back exactly the way it was. They're going to print like crazy. The peso is going to be devalued. I'm getting out. So they started pulling all their money out of Argentina, thinking he was about to lose. That's when we got the crazy bailout from Besant, which I still think is a bad idea, even though it has worked out okay so far. And now step 3, shocker, he won. Okay, yesterday his party did really well. He needed like 35% of the parliament to be doing okay. He got like 42. I mean, they did really well. So in response, at least in the short term, it was very good. Their bonds and their currency, that means like the interest they have to pay to borrow money went down. And
yes, because when you pour $40 billion in to the fucking exchange rate, yeah, it goes down. No fucking shit.
Value of the peso surged after they won because people think, oh, he's going to be able to keep the reforms. Just understand that it's more nuanced. Anyone saying like, oh my God, he's purely saved Argentina, he's great, clearly not true. People that say, oh my God, he's terrible and nothing he's done has worked, also not true, bro. It's just not. It's just nuanced. It's a country.
Bro, if we gave Venezuela a $40 billion bailout and allowed them to sell their oil, their economy would be doing really well. The idea that this is nuance it's nonsense. They were bailed out and they're being propped up by the United States of America.
That is in a crisis and is making some good movements, some bad movements, and they're trying to figure it out. Okay, just understand. However, he did win this election.
Can you talk about specifically, Atriot, question for you. Can you talk about specifically which government programs, you know, that you don't think people should be able to have? Like retirement or food assistance for the poor? Like, what do you think
about it that I wanted to watch with you guys?
On Sunday, Argentina went to the polls for its congressional midterms with roughly...
Also, chat, there is a suspicion that this election may have had irregularities. An American puppet wins an election way different than what the polls expect.
Half of the seats in the lower house and a third of the seats in the upper house up for grabs. In what was widely seen as a make-or-break election for Argentina's embattled president Javier Milei, his La Libertad Avanza party outperformed the polls, beating the left-wing Peronist bloc by 10 points and securing a fresh mandate for his radical platform.
I will also say before they go on, is the things I was reading. Because I read Argentina news too. Similarly to what I was talking about here with Gen Z, a lot of people in Argentina are upset at some of the things he's done. Many of the people polled said they were so afraid of going back. They were so afraid of going back to how it was that they voted for him. Like they're gonna give him a chance because they are so afraid of returning to what it's still fresh in their mind of what it was. So you have to understand that like they can be disillusioned with the way some of the stuff has been going. But I just think any analysis of Argentina that doesn't recognize where this election started is too biased. It's too biased because for the average citizen, hyperinflation is unlivable. It's unlivable. You can't meaningfully build a life. It's a quicksand. It's building a life on quicksand.
In short, the success of Milei's economic project has always relied on him remaining popular enough to convince investors and the markets that his reforms are actually going to stick. After all, even if they like Milei's policies, foreign investors aren't going to invest in Argentina and aid its economic recovery.
Yeah, I should be clear. Like, they are buying Argentinian bonds, IOUs, for like 20 years. They're doing like 20-year IOUs, or if they're investing in pesos, that's money they have to hold for a while so they can use it to spend on something. They have to believe not only that there's going to be real change, but that the change is going to stick for a long time. Even if they like what he's doing, they have to be skittish.
His party were then punished at the Buenos Aires provincial elections in early September, where they lost to the left-wing Peronists by 13 points. Worried that Milei's reforms would soon be stymied by the Peronists, foreign investors and anxious Argentinians responded by selling Argentinian assets, especially Argentina's currency, the peso. This was bad news for Milei, not least because a sharp devaluation in the peso would stoke inflation, increasing the cost of imports, undoing perhaps his most notable economic achievement, namely the stabilization of Argentina's monthly inflation rate. Now, Milei tried to stem the peso's decline by essentially hiking interest rates, but this put the brakes on Argentina.
Look at the interest rates, by the way, chat. Look at the interest rates. Listen, I'm just offering you a low interest rate. I mean, we can't even see it because it's blocked by Atrioc. I don't even think he understands what the video is saying, but or why the right side of the chart is the most important part to see. But it's okay. We don't. We'll just. I guess it's over here at some point. I can't really tell. But 80% interest.
But this put the brakes on Argentina's already stagnant economy and was.
Oh wait, the economy's not growing. I thought these reforms were amazing. The economy's not growing. But hey, with $40 billion of U.S. bailouts, the peso could stop from crashing.
Ultimately insufficient. When the peso continued to decline, Milei then had to directly intervene and spend dollars buying up pesos. But this was clearly unsustainable.
By the way, that was a broken promise. Milei said he would never buy up the peso with reserves. So he broke his word, and he did this secretly behind the scenes to try to generate demand. And guess what happened, chat? They ran out of dollars. The Argentinian government under Milei ran out of foreign reserves. Now, if it was a left-wing government, the United States of America would clamp down sanctions, right? And try to destroy it there. But because it's a fascist libertarian government that Atrioc likes, they decided to pour $40 billion of bailout money in. It's kind of like the difference between the way that Obama treated homeowners. Oh, you fell behind in your mortgage payment? 9 million families lost their home under centrist Barack Obama, Atrioc fan President Barack Obama. But all of Wall Street, they got bailed out at the tune of trillions of dollars. So none of the people that actually facilitated the Great Recession were punished, but everyone who bought a home and couldn't afford because of the teaser rate resets or whatever, they were thrown out on their ass and had their finances destroyed.
Argentina's meager foreign exchange reserves. At this point,
just to explain what happens there, like if you're a country whose currency is getting weaker, you can shock the market and stabilize it by buying a ton of your own currency with dollars or with another currency, with euros, you know? The problem is you need a ton of dollars. China has this. Japan has this. Some countries have tons of foreign reserves, and they can use that to try and stabilize or defend their currency's value. Argentina doesn't have shit, bro. They're just broke as a joke, which is why they needed the bailout from America, the $20 billion swap line, to do this to begin with.
When the US announced that they were essentially bailing him out by providing a $20 billion swap line, which allows Argentina to convert pesos to dollars at a constant exchange rate. When this didn't stop the sell-off, the Trump administration took things a step further and literally spent hundreds of millions of dollars buying up pesos on currency markets. Now, both Milei and Trump would have been hoping that this support would get him out of this vicious cycle by providing some economic relief ahead of the midterms. But things didn't go perfectly to plan here. Not only did the peso continue to fall, reaching a new low of about 1,500 to the dollar last week, but the fact...
By the way, after this election, now that he got a bit of a popular surge, he has a little more political power, he should just let the peso devalue to its actual value. Just get it over with. The idea that you're going to constantly...
So in other words, have a lot of inflation again? You're just having a lot of inflation again? Again, the economy is crashing because they cut all that government spending and they got rid of all those assets. And the reason why, and by the way, he's saying they're broke as a joke, but not only did they get that $40 billion bailout from DC, they also got another $20 billion extended arrangement from the IMF. The amount of money that the United States is pouring into Argentina to prop up this neoliberal catastrophe is unbelievable. But in order to get that money, they have to have a broad range of structural reforms to foster a more dynamic, market-oriented economy. Building on the authorities' commitment to a zero deficit target and track record of delivering the first fiscal surplus in almost 2 decades, the program focuses on strengthening the equality and durability of the fiscal anchor. This will be supported by ongoing spending discipline, efficiency measures, and well-sequenced reforms of the tax, revenue sharing, and pension systems. Building on the impressive ongoing efforts to deregulate the economy, the program seeks to deepen structural reforms to boost Argentina's growth, including via its vast potential in energy and mining. So in case you don't know what this is saying, I'll translate it from neoliberal scumbag and neo-colonialist. What we're going to do is we're going to destroy Argentina's welfare state, throw millions of people into dire poverty and starvation, while we privatize the entire energy and mining industry to American corporations to go steal their natural resources, and we'll bribe a few thousand rich Argentinians to monitor and maintain the system of exploitation and extraction. Efforts will focus on strengthening product and labor market flexibility. That means the ability to hire and fire people at whim. Strengthening product means basically removing regulations for safety, efficacy, wholesomeness, things like that. Gradually opening the economy, improving state efficiency and regulatory predictability. This means preventing the state from enacting any kind of like safety regulations, environmental or pollution controls, working conditions regulations, minimum wages, things like that. There you go. So, you know, tens of billions of dollars being pumped into Argentina.
Defend it at a incorrect price is absurd. Just get it over with, bro. Do it now before it's like you have time till the next election.
And to top it all off, because of this ongoing interplay between Milei's political prospects and his economic project, it's also been great news for the peso. While the Argentinian exchanges weren't open at the time of writing, on the crypto-based currency exchanges, where the Argentine peso trades 24 hours, the peso has strengthened about 10% against the dollar.
I hate how we have to check crypto exchanges and Polymarket and Kalshi to get real-time updates on shit nowadays. Because they all trade 24/7 and are full of...
This means that Milei should be able to just let the peso float. Inflation won't surge, and he could probably start building back his foreign exchange reserves.
Yeah, do that.
All in all, well, the best strategy was probably just to avoid the corruption scandals that got him...
Yeah, I mean, ideally, right? It is worth mentioning. This was a really low turnout election. As in, like I said, a lot of people are just drifting into nihilism, bro. They don't like any option. They're not showing up. They're not voting. It's a big part of it. This disillusionment, especially young people. Paratrioc. Can we get a Paratrioc emote? Although, what was the U.S. turnout? Voting turnout, 66%, I think. So that's about what they got. So that's funny. Argentina's low turnout is 1% higher than our national turnout in our high turnout election. That's crazy, bro.
Because Kamala Harris is extremely unpopular, bro.
Someone spamming 6-7. It's hard to defend democracy when you guys don't vote and you spam 6-7. I'm trying to advocate for young voters here. Okay? Not only do you not vote, you don't turn out, you go 6-7 Omega Lol. I was playing, but this might kill your love of 6-7, by the way. I was playing poker with Tafikins, who's like a 38-year-old man, and he's got a kid, okay? He's a dad, and every time he got his two cards were 6-7, he would go 6-7. 6-7, and then he would bet 67 chips. He did that all night. Nah, that's awesome. You guys like that? Wait, he's hip with...
All right, exactly about what I expected. I don't know what else to say. I don't know what else to say. The idea that Argentina is like, oh man, these reforms are working really well. It's like the IMF gave them 20 billion, the US gives them 40 billion, $60 billion of direct aid. And it's still not working. Mike, are we ever watching the Red Pen vid? Yes, we are. All right, everybody. I'm going to call it there. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. I really appreciate you. I am not a fan of neoliberalism. And anybody who promotes it should be in, what do we say? Prison? Yeah. We're good with that. Prison is a good idea. There is an inflation, but you don't see it reflected on the peso solar. I mean, of course, there's inflation. Inflation is surging in Argentina. All right, everybody, stay safe. Solidarity forever, my friends. I just love the idea that what Argentina needs is the IMF. The IMF reforms. My name is Atrioc. I am very wise. IMF reforms. Those always help your economy really grow really well. It always works out really well. Like, the more the IMF controls your politics and your economy, the better your country does. All right, everybody, stay safe. Solidarity forever. I'll see you all tomorrow. All right, everybody. Peace.